We're here.
Finally.
Long intro.
2 minutes long. My gosh.
Do you want me to lead? You're on the left side.
You go. I am not prepared tonight.
What is up, everybody? I'm Mike, N2MET, and thank you for joining us for another Northeast Ham Radio Happy Hour. This is the show where we get together, we have drinks, I come up with ideas for t-shirts, and we talk a little ham radio in the process. So let's get this thing started. Eric, why don't you introduce yourself, brother?
I'm Eric, N1JUR, and yeah, thanks for having us on tonight. It's been an insane day. I've been running around going nuts, but good to be on here.
What about you, Paul?
It's great to be here. I'm in the midst of reorganizing and cleaning the shack and in preparation for my shack photos. But glad to be here sharing a little bit of Elijah with you guys tonight.
Yes. Todd, how's it going?
It's going good. No one told me it was going to snow today. It was, I come out of my office and roads were a little slick, but I made it home and then found out I forgot we had this until my alarm went off. I'm like, why did my alarm go off? And I looked at my thing. I'm like, oh yeah, we got the near tonight. So here I am. And I did do a POTA. So looking forward to telling you guys about my trip to Arkansas.
Oh, new state.
Yeah, I work too.
What's up, Rob?
Not much. Just figured I'd join you guys. I finally had a free Friday night, so I figured I'd join in. Been sick for a while too, so I'm finally not coughing. So I figured I could get through here without coughing and annoying people.
And anytime I get sick, like before Christmas or Thanksgiving, it's like it kind of goes through my head. I'm like, at least I'm getting it over with now and not ruining the actual holidays part of it and stuff. But awesome. And as I said, Mike, N2MET, so glad to be here with everyone tonight. This has been a lot of fun doing these live streams each month, getting all of us together from the Northeast. And, with it being the end of the year, as a lot of people already talk, it's kind of like one of those year-end shows. Let's, what are we going to talk about? Well, let's talk about some of the, like our big wins, our big successes this year, some of our failures. You can't have the good without the bad. And then some of the surprises, because I think I certainly had, when it comes to ham radio or ham tube, a number of surprises this year as well and stuff. So that's what we were kind of thinking about talking. Of course, in the chat, you got, by all means, you're a participant in this. Let us know if you got questions. You want to talk about some of the new radios that are just came out or coming out, some antennas and whatnot. Let us know and stuff. But I got to, Todd kind of teased, his activation in Arkansas and stuff. So let's jump in over there, because was that a new state for you, buddy?
No, it was a so I was down there in Maine, and I did a park real quick last time I was down there. So I scoped out some better parks, and I was going to do two, but I was having too much fun. So I just stayed longer at the one. It was my second activation down in Arkansas, and it was pretty cool. It was 70 degrees. I was in a t-shirt and loving life. I worked it all on 10 meters. And well, the only bummer that I had is I had Alaska, 5'9", clear as day, not at a park. And then I got Hawaii, 5'9", clear as day, not at a park. And then I got Buenos Aires, what is it, Brazil, somewhere, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, something like that. So that was like the far
Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Yeah, all right, no, it was Brazil, Rio de Janeiro then. So anyway, I got that was like the area, but I got a ton of California, all out west. Everything was 5'9". The band was hopping. I got a bunch of New England, and I was just having a blast. And it was like I was sitting right on a lake, had a little bench, like a picnic table with a little gazebo over it, and I'm like facing the water, like 70 degrees, little rain showers here or there, but I was covered. I was in the shelter, so it was good. And the guy was camping, and he came over and he goes, my buddy was supposed to come here today to do ham radio, but he bailed on me. I'm like, well, you want to join? He's like, no. He goes, I'm not a hand, but he was going to do it. He does this. He goes, don't you do this like park thing? And I'm like, yeah, parks on the air. That's what I'm doing. So it was all good. It was the first time I did an activation in probably, a month and a half, 2 months. It's been a long time. So I didn't lose it. I knew what I was doing, and I was having a ton of fun. So it was all good.
I got to ask the question. I probably know the answer, and I think everybody probably knows the answer if they listen to the podcast. What antenna were you using?
Come on. Do I need?
No,
really?
seriously. We using the Buddy Stick Pro? Is that what you were?
Oh
using,
yeah, but yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Nobody got time for that.
Okay,
Yeah,
come
dude,
on,
that
Mike.
thing,
Really?
that thing was. I mean, it's awesome. I love that thing. Yeah, it took me.
I don't think I used it on 10. That's why it's actually why I was asking.
Yeah, it's the counterpoise is short, so it almost like it's I think it's the gray one, which I think is the first one, but it's kind of that was the only thing. Like when you get on 10, you have to really adjust that the height because it's almost, it doesn't have enough to get straight out, so it's kind of like going down at an angle. So
Okay,
but
yeah.
I had I think my SWR was like, I think it was like I got it down to like 1 to 1.3 or 1 to 3 or whatever, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, well,
like,
we did that. We did that soda hike, and Paul's like looking at the SWR meter. It's below 3. We're good. No problem.
I'll be honest, though. I couldn't believe how. I mean, this was probably one of my clearest POTA activations I've had. I want to say like maybe 3 people weren't 5'9", and maybe they were like the worst was 5'5". There were some stations that I couldn't make out, like they'd come in and go out, like I hear them very faint and then they just disappear. But for the most part, it was just I think I got 44 contacts in like maybe 2 hours, hour and 45 minutes, something like that. So
Hey, sounded good here. I worked you. You're in the log.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
I didn't even know I worked you.
I know you didn't know it was me.
Why didn't you say anything?
Because you should do is call, my friend. That's
Oh man, I'm sorry, Rob.
No,
I would have talked to you. I was talking to some of the people. I was
I like to be incognito sometimes. It's funny. I work a lot of people. They don't know. They don't recognize my call or my voice or whatever. So I always laugh.
Well, I'll work like Eric, or I'll work Bill W1WRA, and I always hear Eric as N1JUR. Well, then he does it phonetically. I'm like, say that again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. It was and I did it all on 10. Like normally I do like an I'll start on a different band, and if I'm having trouble or things aren't going my way, I'll switch to 20. And this one, I was having too much fun on 10. I didn't even switch, so I did the whole activation on 10, and it was good.
I was testing a radio, and it was good that you came on because you're going to be in my video.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's awesome. Sweet. What's up, Izzo?
Hey guys,
Look who dropped in.
yeah, thanks to technology.
Isn't your name and technology synonymous?
I don't know, it's worked in the past. Now all of a sudden it says cookies this and cookies that, disable this, enable this. I'm like, really, folks?
Well, it is the holidays, Izzo, so Santa does look like cookies, right?
It's either that or all because of all this drone activity. We need to heighten security.
Gotten into Connecticut.
Yeah, exactly.
you got drones flying over.
Yeah, so, well, good evening, everybody. I got a good cigar. Want to hang out with some bros.
Nice.
So that's all I know. So,
welcome to the party.
And nice hat,
good.
John.
Oh yeah,
one of the best.
This is a great hat. This is a great hat. You crazy guys from up north gave this to me. This is a good hat.
I have to comment. We can't let this pass. Mike is literally like, his ensemble there is totally like, did you plan the hat and the shirt at the same time? Like it's literally like same color, everything.
I just got the shirt. This past week. I'm obviously a Generation X 80s survivor, a big fan of Fletch. But I've had this hat for a while. I'm an Orlando Magic fan, and so, but it just looks good, and so does the background with all your stockings hanging.
That was an awesome image there, my friend. That took a lot of work for sure.
I actually lost the bet. I lost the bet. I didn't know if he was going to come in with a tie or a bow tie, so I lost the bet. So
No, the Fletch shirt is awesome. That's,
It is. It's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Can't beat them. Can't beat them.
Yeah. Oh, we got another one. Marvin, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, how are you guys?
We are doing good.
Good. Coming into you from
You wanna
Wisconsin
introduce
today, so a little late, but better late than never.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's cold. We're
Oh.
gonna have a white Christmas. We got snow on the ground here, so it's
I would hope so.
guaranteed.
We're getting a little here too.
Yeah, same here. Yep.
Yeah, we're getting
Yes.
it.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to accumulate. Looking at the security cameras here, so I don't know. We might get more than an inch that what they're predicting. So
Yeah, actually, I had to get the tractor out and do a little plowing yesterday.
wow.
So, yeah.
So was your Wisconsin trip back home for a certain flex to be installed, or was that just a different reason?
Well, about that. Yes, that was the ultimate goal, but due to some other circumstances right now, that is getting delayed till probably sometime in February, March. So,
Okay.
I'll have to be a spring thing now with that, unfortunately. So, I was hoping to have it installed and ready to go because I've got everything here for it except the radio itself. But it is what it is. So, yep.
Very cool.
So, I'll have the repeater completely up and running. That's the good thing. That'll be functional. So, I mean, it's actually functional now. I just gotta get the big antenna up tomorrow. So that's all I gotta do to get that out and get it put together, which won't be too bad.
For the DR2 repeater, or what?
It's a DR2 repeater, but I've got the DB224. It's a Commodore DB224 antenna. It's a commercial grade antenna for in the band. So yeah, should be pretty good. It's a very common antenna for repeaters. So it's about $12 to $1,500 antenna. It's not cheap. So, but yeah, but it's going to cover the area. There's nothing else in this area at all. So, which is good.
Nice.
I saw another repeater is no longer in service in the area too now. So it will be the only one back up in the area for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So everyone getting ready for Winter Field Day. It's coming up. About a month away.
Yeah, we've been really busy. It's Winter Field Day. A lot of emails coming in, people asking questions. We've got working with World Radio League, and we are going to be having. You can go out and enroll now with World Radio League, and they've got I think about 30 people signed up for it so far, but they haven't started pushing it yet. Big on their side, but you can if you use their logger system at all with other contests, you can see a leaderboard. And it's active as you go throughout the contest. You can see who's getting more points and scoring and doing other things. And so that when you add objectives in there, that will boost your points as well. And so we're integrating that, and I'm going to say this with tentative remarks is basically N1MM and N3 FJP. If we can get the integration done, you can go out to their use those programs, and then it will basically use a program called Ham Connect, and it will connect into the World Radio League server, and you can use those programs and feed right into World Radio League. So we're kind of hoping that integration will get done. We don't know that that's 100% guaranteed for this year, but it's something that we're really working on, and Ham Radio Prep is working with us on that to get that done. So we'll see. So we're kind of excited about that. And we've got a couple upcoming other shows that we'll be on talking about the Winter Field Day very soon here. And so, it's some cool stuff. So continue to move things forward, and it's going very well.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So Eric, did you have you talked to our new president about we might have a very large showing at the site? We have a very small a very small site, but there's a lot of chatter on a different repeater that a lot of people use, and I think most of New England who uses that repeater is thinking about showing up. So,
come on.
Yeah. So I don't know how big. I don't know. He was talking about it on the repeater the other day, and he has I'm going to go up there. I think I'm going to be up near Francistown tomorrow, so I might give him a call and just come up and just see it for myself to see what it's going to look like. But I don't know. We may not have parking.
Are you still thinking coming up that way, Marvin?
I am. Yeah, I'm hoping to be up there. So I'll be back in the state of Mass around the 29th, and then do a little bit of some final stuff on the trailer. And I'm hoping to be there. If I don't bring the trailer, I don't bring the trailer, but I'm hoping to. Nice to have it be enclosed and a little bit of heat in there. So I don't have any weather elements that might be occurring during that time.
Cool.
Yeah,
looking forward to it. Should be fun.
Thank you to Michael and Fred, Hobbies and Humans. I know the two of my buddies who have been out to Hamvention with. I should probably let you guys know if you maybe don't recall but it was in a video. The Believe in Belize. So this is definitely one of the successes for 2024. I always like at Hamvention to try to make contacts from the hotel room in Dayton. And so I used a CB antenna on a mag mount and worked Belize on FTA. And it was like the longest minute or two trying to make that contact. And, and Fred's in the back, back of me sitting on the bed, just chanting, I believe in Belize. I believe in Belize. Come on, you can do this. It was like the most fun just to make one contact with this, like a Bree, collapsible CB antenna. But it was on a mag mount on the air conditioner, and it's fun stuff, like that just it totally makes Hamvention. I had such a great time, and definitely looking forward to next year. But thank you, Michael and Fred, for being there.
Funny that kind of style. Like I always kind of took for granted a lot of like your 2 meter VHF high band kind of activations and stuff like that. And so when we finally did our soda hike, was it like back early in December? Like when we finally did it and we were making VHF, UHF contacts there, I was like, dude, I totally forgot how awesome those bands were just to be able to like make, I think most of the time we spent on the adventure frequency because we all programmed those in, and it was a blast because once we kind of spread the word around that, hey, we'd be on these frequencies, I remember we were walking down after we had finished our activation, and there was a guy in Vermont, literally just on the border of Vermont on a small little hill. And he was coming in like 5'9", and people were hitting him up like every 5 seconds. Like, I mean, I could barely hear the guys who I was walking with, and Paul was one of them. We were just having conversation on the way down. And it's like, I'm trying to mute the microphone on my shoulder because I want to hear them, but I'm hearing this guy like just banging off contacts like he's in a contest. And I'm like, this is just on just amazing to see. It was an awesome day for radio. Like I was totally blown away, minus the fact it was good weather too. But that was I think a success. Paul, would you agree? Even though 20 meters is not on lower sideband.
But we did figure it out. We did fix it.
It's funny because I'm putting together that video, and I carved out a segment specifically for that of like, and I narrated it saying, I don't know how we got Paul's radio into lower sideband, but we spent literally 25 minutes Googling and watching YouTube videos to figure out how to take it out of lower sideband and put it into upper sideband.
Well, I did the opposite, and this was with Michael, who did the super chat. When I had his Buddy Stick Pro, and we went out and did the POTA. When we were on getting set up on 40 meters, 7.2 was clear. And we started calling out, and the first contact that came back is like, he was like, I don't really care so much for POTA, but I just wanted to let you know, you're on upper sideband. And so not only did I make a contact on 7.2, but I have a POTA contact on 7.2 upper sideband. We switched over. It was still empty, and got about a dozen more before, the QRM started.
You like to walk. That's very dangerous. That's a wild, that's worth a couple extra points. I think that can be scary.
My son, Ben and I did it on Thanksgiving. We wanted to go out. We always go out on holidays. We'll be out on Christmas. And it's kind of a little tradition, and we'll do activations together. And on the holidays, usually don't have a lot of time, but, we had a little bit of time. I'm like, let's do 40 meters because I had done 20 the last time I was out, and we wanted to get some local folks and kind of spin the dial. And 7.2 was clear, and I asked a couple times, is the frequency in use? they weren't there. And I prepped Ben and I told him, like, listen, we this might be a little shady, you know, like we'll see what happens, you know, but he's 15, he can handle it. And you know, and sure enough, there's a little bit of like, you know, half-ass QRM and stuff.
And that'll put some hair on his.
But we
and
did it, yeah.
That'll put some hair on his chest. You know that one way or another. Between that and
I don't know if it puts it on his chest there, Izzo, but you know.
He has a good father. He has a good father. His father will break it down for him.
Yeah.
And kids are not stupid. So
I worked you guys that day.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Upper sideband? 40 meters.
No,
I
didn't buy the book.
Oh.
I learned from my mistakes. but yeah, no, it's I've done it a few times, you know. I'll call out if it's open, you know, and I'm feeling in the mood, then I will. But at the end of the day, like if they're not on 7.2, the lids are going to go somewhere else. They'll just find another frequency and stuff. And so like, at least if you know where people are going to be that you want to avoid, then you can avoid them. You know, it is what it is.
They'll just go 20 kilohertz up. So, you know,
yeah,
it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Don't go
It's
far.
better they're there than if they drop down and they get into the portion of 40 meters below 7.2 where it's shared with Europe, and that's where people are trying to get some DX in the evening and stuff like that. Like, rather they stay up at 7.2 or above. So
I'm sure they get blasted out by a few strong stations in Europe for sure. No problem.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, dude, when you threw out that kind of list of successes and failures, I I had to like spend some time trying to figure that out for the past year. Like, I tend to like my failures. I tend to like just go, okay, I can improve on it, and then I just move on. And so I was like, man, where did I have failures? I know I had a bunch of them. I totally know I had a bunch of them.
I could name a few.
Well, you go ahead. Please do. I'm sure it probably aligns with what I have here on my list finally. But yeah,
I forgot my battery. I forgot my antenna.
Those
forgot
are just
my radio.
Okay.
You want to hear
the CRS.
You want to hear a stupid one that I did?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you guys, for those who don't know me, my saying, and I've been saying this for about 40 years, emergency knows no holiday. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I like to have doubles, triples, quadruples. I took an extra power cord that I made, Anderson power cord, and I said, if I ever leave my power cord, I'll keep it in the bag, in my big bag that I bring. I got to a POTA park this summer. I forgot the power cord. You start swearing every single word under the sun. You make up a few new ones, packed everything up, but leave the park, start heading home, and all of a sudden I realize I have a spare already under my nose. Feeling like an idiot, pull into the rest stop where I am on Interstate 95, pull into the rest stop just to make sure enough it's there. Looped around, went back to the park, and I MF'd myself all the way until I got to the park, and I just said, shut up, and thank God you got the spare. But it was like one of those, I forgot about the spare was already there, and I could have already been making, 10, 20, 30 contacts already. I felt so stupid, but one of those, so that's how I know. So now when I look at that bag, I kind of run that mental picture of, I know what's in there. I have, all my extra connectors, a couple extra antennas, all that stuff that we pen and paper, and it's I'm like, my God, so.
Yeah. I always like to say, like, that when it comes operating portable, there's always an opportunity to learn, and it goes both ways. Like you learn what works and what's an ideal way to set up in certain situations, but you learn from mistakes. Like I forgot radios, I forgot batteries, and I've done all these things. I've got the antenna set up and only to have to take it all down and drive back home because I forgot the battery or something like that, or a cable or whatever. And that's the nice thing about POTA, SOTA, Winter Field Day, and a lot of these activities that get you out and operating. Portable I think they're fantastic ways to learn, because I'm constantly changing what gear I keep in my bag and things I carry with me and all that, and it's ham radio in general. Like it's a hobby of hobbies. It's a nonstop learning license for the year.
It's funny you say that, because like learning's like I find most of I prefer to fail like a lot of my activations than I do for successes, because like when I get like 66 contacts or 100 contacts, I'm like, oh cool, that's great. But like when I fail because I forget an antenna or I'm a coax connector, all of the list kind of goes on and on.
Yeah.
I kind of sit there and go, man, I actually learned something, and I feel better about it.
Mm-hmm.
And damn it, people like me too.
Yeah, here's the quote right there. Experience comes from bad judgment. So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
T-shirt time.
Do you remember
Yep.
that time, Don, when Jason and Kyle came up? I forgot my power cord.
Yes, that day.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a different power cord in the pack, and I borrowed your Leatherman, and I made it work.
Right.
Wow.
Talking about he pulled a MacGyver. He did. And now my thing has always been if you have jumper cables, which most of us do in our vehicle, you actually have a battery. And even if you have to run the vehicle to make your 11, 12, 15 contacts, you could still make a successful activation. And another time I was thinking, how would I do it? But I was already home. But I said, let me practice. How would I do it? And then I realized, now that I've converted over to power poles, it's like on my Izzo, I no longer have a ponytail coming out, a pony line coming out of the radio. I converted that Molex to power poles.
Okay.
So now the idea has got to change because, listen, we could just take clamp it over here, take some electrical tape, prevent any fires, any electrical issues. You got it. But wait a minute, how are you still going to connect this? So now I got to come up with something that has, and I'm just going to keep it in the truck, I think I'm just going to create a power pole on one end, open, maybe just throw some ring terminals on it or something, hide it in the truck, and then we have to say, don't forget you have it, and revert back to the other story I told you.
It sounds like you need that Wago to power pole little converter dongy thing. I mean,
Those
it
are
sounds like you
helpful.
need to carry like 25 of those around with you.
Well, I just bought a new truck, but now I'm starting to wonder if I have to buy a bigger truck because that's always been my problem.
You need a bigger truck. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Very true.
Cody's forgot pretty much everything that I've forgotten too. I know he's in Pennsylvania, and in the Northeast, we're pretty lucky that we got parks all over the place, and most of the ones that I'm going to when I'm forgetting stuff are pretty close to home. So I've had to, like I said, take down the mast, the antenna, and everything, and then drive home, and it's just like you're wasting so much time. I got lucky. I got my wife to bring out. I forget what it was. I forgot. I think I forgot my battery. And
Did you call her?
You called her and she dropped it off to you?
I was a mile from the house. I was a mile from the house.
Wow. She is the wife of the year, my friend. My gosh, you are in debt to her forever now. You're screwed.
Owe her. You owe her life. You owe that.
Absolutely.
That's a
POTA
definite
is
success.
POTA is important.
Okay, so we got to stop here. Lost Nation Radio, Chris there. Power pole to jumper kill. This man literally has an entire van of full radios, and he has literally autonomous. The power poles to whatever. I don't care what you use, Chris. You literally just have to pull up to your plot and put out a kilowatt in a matter of a couple of seconds. So
Nice.
you don't. We're on two different levels here.
Definitely.
Well, talking about being a dumbass and prepared. I used my iPad to log in my activation in Arkansas, and dumbass me was watching movies on the plane and drained my battery. So, and then of course my battery pack that I had wasn't charged, because I just leave it in my bag and it must have uncharged. So I have like 20% on my iPad, and I'm watching it, and I'm putting in low power mode just so I can work. And all of a sudden, it's like going down, and I'm telling everyone, I'm like, listen, I'm running out of power. I'm like, let's go, last call.
What are you dimming the display all the way?
Yeah, oh yeah, dimming it, trying to save, closing all the apps out, like whatever I had open, just trying to save it. I'm like down to 9. I'm like, all right, I'm at 9%. I could probably get a couple more in there.
We can do this.
Yeah, it all worked out. It did make it, but I was like, you got to be kidding me, because I just didn't even think about it that it was draining while I was watching like a movie on the airplane.
You always have a pen and a pad.
Yeah, I did. I didn't want to have to go and I mean, I would have, but
but you always have it just in case.
yeah. So yeah, but it was pretty cool. It was a good thing. And then my other thing, I got a master, and I have not, and this is the government's fault. It's not my fault. I have not been able to get through TSA both ways with my freaking battery. I mean, I left Manchester, New Hampshire. I must have stood there for 20 minutes with like 20 people looking at my battery, and thank God I didn't because it's starting to peel, like the covering and stuff. Like it's in really rough shape. It's been, I mean, I use it all the time, and it needs to be fixed. But they were looking at it. They were running machine things over it, and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, all right, I get through it, because I was like at the point, I'm like, this isn't going to work. They're going to say no. I'm going to have to go back to my car, dump all my gear, and then head back. So they let me through. So I'm all good. Now I'm thinking on the way back, I better get there early because, I'm in Arkansas and it might take them even longer. Nope, they don't even care. Go right through. Didn't even open it. Didn't go down the side ramp. Nope, you're all good. So I was like, there is absolutely no consistency with TSA. No. One way, I'm not going. And it's I've gone through Manchester Airport, no problem, no check-in. And then I'd get jammed up in Mississippi. But it's never been both ways. And I honestly don't know. I showed him the paper. I said, hey, it says right here, this is legal. No, sir, please, just let us do our job. I'm like, okay. I think the more you question them or you ask them or you show them something, they get more suspicious of you, thinking that you're trying to sneak something in. So maybe I just need to shut up and say, yep.
Really what you need to do, Todd, is like when you're standing in line is start to take your pants off, fold it up nice and neatly, put them in the in the bucket, and start to take your shirt off, and then make your way through the scanner and watch 5 other people start to do that behind you, because they're just going to follow suit, and then they'll never check your battery because you'll just keep going. They'll be like, I got to get this guy away from me really quick.
And it's like, when I'm in Manchester, like they have like the after it goes through the machine, there's like it stops, and it can either go left or if it goes straight. So I'm like sitting there, and the guy had it on pause because he was looking at someone. I'm like, come on, and then all of a sudden like goes. I'm like,
big money, whammy.
So
Big
they
bucks,
don't put
no
a
whammy.
ticket. So they don't put a ticket. They don't put like a ticket saying TSA approved. So when you get to your next destination, or when you know what I'm saying.
Well, you don't have to go through TSA. Like when you have your layover, you're already in the airport, so you don't have to go through it again. But you have to go through it on the way home. Like you got to get back
into.
That's
what I'm saying. Right. So if you approved it
but I could make a
way,
ticket like that and put it on there. So.
I know, right?
Well, it's like picking up dry cleaning. You don't have that ticket, you're not getting your dry cleaning. I get it. I've been there. I've lost my ticket. And how do you
We'll start printing them on the Live Free and Ham shop. You can pick them up there in bulks of 10.
TSA approved battery ticket.
Yeah.
It'll have a little check boxes what you want to prove.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna re-shrink wrap it. I'm gonna do what Paul said, because I said if I shrink wrapped it and I didn't have the label on it, like there's no way that thing would have gotten through. They would have been like, nope. But if I shrink wrap it, Paul said cut out where the label is after you shrink wrap it. And maybe I'll make up a TSA and just put TSA approved and stick a sticker on it and see if it goes through.
See, you should really just put on the side of it, this is not a bomb, and then, it'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, it's not a bomb. I'll let it go through.
Yeah, next thing you know, I'll be in the back room and I'll be gone for you. Like, how come Todd hasn't been on the podcast for a few weeks?
And there's a picture of Todd sweating. Don't sweat. That's the last thing you do. You start sweating, you know what happens. Because we've all seen that channel there catching the smoke. They start sweating.
One time I went and I'm talking to the TSA guy and I said, yeah, I got my ham radio gear in the bag. He goes, oh, I'm a ham too. And so we're talking before it comes through and, having this thing. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm good to go. This guy knows all this shit. Oh, no, this guy wanted to look. He's looking at the radio. I think he was just looking at my shit to see what I had. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, this guy knows what it is. Why is he going through everything?
He's like, dude, your menu settings are a little bit out.
Meanwhile, the pilot's like, come on, we got to go.
Yeah. But we should have I should start I should just have my own podcast on encounters with the TSA. You can sit there and just film people going through some of the shit that I see. I mean, it's just crazy.
once you start putting your videos out, then you could do a podcast. Let's start with baby steps first.
I haven't had to travel with HF yet. I've only brought VHF stuff on planes so far, but this spring we'll likely be doing a family vacation where I will, and I'm just gonna tell them, because like I have my CPAP stuff, that's medical equipment. They look at the battery, the radio. I'm just gonna I'm like, that's medical equipment, man. POTA is an addiction. Like
that's my medical, right?
It's mental health therapy.
Right. I have a doctor's note, not for the CPAT. It's for my HF.
Yeah.
They think he's a righteous dude.
Well, when I fly down there, you have to fly on these like CRJ 900s. They're like sardine cans. And if you bring like a regular, bag that you'd bring on an airplane, like a roller bag that you can bring on the plane, it doesn't fit. So you got to put it underneath. So if you bring that bag, you can't have I don't want to leave my radio gear in there, right? And if you only bring that, you can't put it under because you have to have the battery. You can't shove the battery underneath. So it's like, what I do is I just bring my backpack, my POTA bag, and that's it. Like, that's what I bring, and I shove my clothes all the way around it. I'm only going for a day. Like, well, how much more do you need?
Underwear and socks make great cushions for that.
Good extra padding.
Extra padding for that screen.
But yeah, it's just every time, and like I tell you, I don't know. There's got to be one of these days I'm just going to smooth through, but I don't know what the secret is because it's not consistent ever.
I'm thinking one of these days you're going to get ticked off, and you're going to say the wrong word to the guy who didn't have breakfast.
Right.
Yeah. So the question in the chat. So about pilots flying with ham gear. Like I've worked aeronautical mobile stations at least once, maybe twice.
Same here.
That I know of, and so. I think in those instances, some of them, like it's built. It's not that they're bringing it with them. It's built into they got stuff built into the plane.
Well, we've worked Ryan. I've worked him a few times on 10 meters. Ryan's the silent member of. There he is, under Paul's picture. He's our silent member of Live Free and Ham, one of the founders, and I worked him. One time he texted me and he says, "Hey, go to this frequency," and I went to the frequency and I was in my shack, and he was over like Iceland, and I was talking to him 10 meters, and then Eric and I were doing our famous rove, and we were working him right off the beach, and he was over there again, like
over there again,
and then he like disappeared. I'm like, where the hell are you? He goes, I gotta land. I'll get back to you. But it's pretty cool. So
what's the issue? So Todd, is the issue the battery? Is there one particular item? Okay, so is BioNO is it a brand name or something that just like a homemade battery pack with wires coming out of it? Is that like
I think it's the wires. The guy said, he goes, we got to check this because you got wires coming out of it.
So because they've had their listen, in all seriousness, we know they have their training videos. The PowerPoint display, look for this, look for that, and I'm sure our stuff, especially the homemade stuff,
well, I'm gonna
in their eyes resembles.
So Paul sent me a link to a battery that he uses, so it doesn't have any wires on it. So I'm gonna get that one and try it the next time to see if that one lets me go, because maybe it is the wires. But look, at one time I got through with the battery. What they were looking at was my freaking throw weight. Like that was. And I'm like, it's a beanbag to like
they're plum.
They're scanning it. They got the dogs smelling it. They're running machine like the bomb sniffing thing. I was like, it's a beanbag.
Man, I would have threw that, and I would have watched the dogs go down.
I was like, Jesus! I go the stupidest things.
Fetch.
I don't travel a whole lot, but a couple of years back, I went and I had an HT with me. And I had taken the antenna off. So the HT was in my backpack and the antenna was separate. And they scanned my backpack. They pulled me aside. And the TSA lady pulls the HT out. And she's looking at sort of the antenna connector on the HT. And she looks at it and she's handling it. And she asks me, is this a vape? No.
Yeah, hold on, let me demonstrate.
That's an awful big vape.
The whole thing, and she kind of looked at me, gave me that look, and okay, and she put it back in the bag, and they let me go.
I was
That's
tempted
the only
one
trouble I've
time.
ever had.
All right,
Hey.
do you guys remember blackberries? Okay, remember the blackberry?
Oh yeah.
So with our HTs with all the buttons, I was going to I was Hartford to Chicago to Tennessee, and I was tempted because they just like you guys. I have the HT and the antenna is off it, and I'm like, should I be honest and say it's an amateur radio transceiver? How do you shorten that thing up, right? And I was getting ready to say, it's a BlackBerry because Blackberries were popular by then. Yeah. But I said, what if they call me on it? Now, how am I supposed to? And I just said, and I said, listen, I like to listen to shortwave radio, local AM radio. I want to listen to the college game. Go ahead, get out of here. I was tempted though. I said, I don't know if I should be pushing it too far. So
it's tough in New York, guys. That's just the way it goes, Bob. It's really tough in the Connecticut area. You have to worry about the drones.
Yes.
Look who just dropped in. Walt and Chris joined too.
Oh, you're muted there, Walt. Let's unmute him.
I'm running from one terminal to another. I'm in the Washington Reagan Airport.
So talking about TSA, we're a perfect fit. Give us a blow by blow. Can you show us exactly how they go through the process?
Or bring one on. Hey, Walt, bring one on right now with you. Say,
I know, right?
I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm walking through the airport right now, holding my phone. So here's how much I'm struggling. I can't even figure out how to cut off the green screen behind me. I just grabbed the phone and got on. So,
oh, good, man. Oh, good. We probably do not want to see the people at this time of the day in the background anyway.
Right, for sure. Hey, guys, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. I've got to run, but I just want to drop in and say you guys are awesome, and Merry Christmas to everybody out there. And I can't wait till next month where I can sit down and enjoy the whole show with you guys again. I really have had so much fun with you guys this year.
We enjoy hanging out with you, Walt. Thank you. Fly safe for sure.
Yeah, Walt. Merry
Good to see you, Walt.
Yes, safe travels.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if they don't give Walt a problem with a CB antenna, but a ham radio antenna is a problem? Would that be funny? Or a 10-meter rig, 11-meter rig? Yeah, no problem. Go.
Yeah.
I was going to say a minute ago, the 12 amp hour battery is kind of your maximum for going through TSA. As long as you're not bigger than that, I've never had a problem going through with a Bioeno or a Dakota Lithium, either one. Right. I've flown through with those. I've had my 705 with me several times, or 891, and never had an issue with those being questioned. So,
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna. Someone put in there they laminate the rule. I'm gonna laminate the rule and stick it like right on the battery. And
because you'll make a lot of friends that way.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be awesome because then they can just read it. I mean, look, this is your rule. I mean, it's legal. Try to make their job easier.
The last time we went to Walt Disney World, and this was pre-COVID and all that stuff. The stuff that we did not board with, sit in our luggage, and we had that little colored thing that says stuff was going through. But I did laminate a copy of my license and I just put on an 8.5 by 11. I am an amateur radio operator, certified by the FCC. This is but they did open it. And you're right, Marvin. I did have a 12 ampere hour Bioeno battery and the charger. So I don't know. Did it help? I don't know. But when I got to the room, everything was in there. So I don't know, Todd. Maybe you just need to buy your own airlines, or just get your own plane or something.
Fly us all around.
Hey, listen, I've been asking Ryan. I said, I even asked him on this show. I'm like, you wouldn't be by chance flying down to Arkansas tomorrow, are you? Like, just hop a ride with his boss.
He's with me. He's with me.
Yeah, he's my guest.
Dude, they don't do TSA checks with his job. Basically, they just walk off the tarmac right into the plane and take off. So there's no checks whatsoever.
Or what you got to do is get a setup like Chris, and then you just drive. You don't need to go anywhere. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris, dude. First and foremost, I have to say I am super excited that you finally put out a couple of videos, dude. That was awesome stuff. I love the 3-hour video. It was perfect. I was just like, I felt like I was there. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check out his channel, but I watched him operate. It was just a regular Poda Park, right?
Yeah, it's 12 minutes from my house.
Oh, wow. Drone footage is great.
We need to set the stage, Chris. First, 12 minutes from your house, but you literally drove a kilowatt to the park and parked there and set up your antennas, and then activated with the kilowatt. Like, which in my mind, I'm like,
it would be cheating if I did it from my house.
Well, true, but so here, I don't know about you, but when the dark ages come and all of a sudden the solar cycle just plummets, I'm going to go hang out with Chris with the kilowatt because I don't know about you, but I need the extra power.
Yeah.
Well, I only had a wire though.
Only
no gain.
With no gain.
True. But dude, it was good to see you make your finally first video. So I assume that's a success for you this year. We're talking to successes and whatnot. So how what's the feeling around it? I'm curious.
I guess that would have to be my amateur radio success this year is overcoming my fear of hearing myself on camera and posting something, whether I like it or not. I only spent maybe 15 minutes editing the video, just learning how to edit, and just said, before the night's through, I'm gonna have something up. So it's not great, but it is what it is. We'll see where it goes.
Dude,
everyone's got to start somewhere.
Editing in itself is an adventure, right? So I put out a 4-minute video the other night, and it took me 5 hours to edit it.
Great. Yeah. Hey, you're really motivating me to get my first video out. Are you serious? 4 minutes? It took you 5 hours?
Well, I was trying to do some planar tracking and put text on the side of the inside of the amplifier case, and so it was a learning experience, but it was a 4-minute long video that took me 5 hours to finalize.
Yeah, but it was a good video. I watched it earlier.
Was that your AMSR beach video?
No. That was the amplifier.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched that one yet. Although I have to say, I have never been turned on by ASMR, beach POTA activations until now. So just letting you know.
Well, I'm glad I got a rise out of you.
Oh man,
salt water adds more than just 10 dB.
That's awesome.
There's the T-shirt. We can end this now.
First,
we got to go back to replay for that one.
First there was the blue pill. Now we have salt water. See that? How it works.
It really
We'll
redefines
put it in
Walt's
Walt's blue
antennas.
bucket, the Lowe's bucket.
Exactly. Yeah. So are we still talking about successes tonight? I know we've started there. Hey,
it's a success getting through the TSA. So that was a success for me. I mean, come on.
Good point.
Oh man, yeah. I guess if we're starting the successes bucket, I'll have to throw in my HF mobile setup. I'm blown away. I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of time dragging my feet trying to figure out how to get it the way I wanted it. But after maybe September, October timeframe, I was like, I just got to get my HF setup in my truck done because we're going to get to winter and I'm not going to be able to operate. Well, not that I won't be able to operate HF, but I won't be able to operate in the comfort of my truck of being able to just, park it and, fire up the ATAS and get going. So yeah, I was super excited to finally finish that and get that all done. And as our trusty, quiet, member of, Live Free and Ham, Ryan, who always subscribed to the ideology of buy once, cry once, I threw pretty much everything at it. So in terms of solar, in terms of battery backup and all the other stuff, I add all the creature comforts to it. So I was pretty psyched. And I think I did an activation, actually last week. And no, actually before that, I just put out a video on it, and that one I just used the ATAS, and I was hitting everywhere across the country, and people give me 5.9s, and mostly on 20. But I was, it's fun. Like I have to say, like having a 20, having an HF rig in the car that's just there and available is awesome. Like that no antenna set up, just shut off the truck, power it up, and go. The hardest part is setting up the log.
What you could do, Eric, is you could take my my antenna, you could put it in the bed of your truck, tie it down, and you could use the awesome antenna that I use that I make all my contacts on.
The ATAS. Okay, so let me rewind there a little bit.
You would have
your antenna. It's tucked away in my saddlebag in the truck, so I have it as a backup. But I haven't gone to it yet. It's soon.
I don't know why you guys hate my antenna so much. It's a great antenna. You trash on it all the time.
No, I like it. I was so surprised by it when I first used it. And for those anyone joined now, the Buddy Stick Pro. That I had an extra Wolf River Coils Sporty 40. I bought it I bought it at a Hamvention like 2 years ago, and there was a problem with it. And a couple of the coils were shorted, and they've got great service. Like Gary or Terry, one of them just right away sent me out. He's like, we had problems with the batch, with a particular batch. You got a bad one. We'll send you a new one. And he said, by the way, if you want to fix it, here's what you do. And I sat on it for like a year. And and after using the Buddy Stick Pro, I'm like, hey, I got this extra Sporty 40. I have two 17-foot whips. And I took it and I just put it with a mirror mount on the deck and set it up temporarily. I had a little jumper to bypass the coil if I wanted to just do 20 and higher. And I took just a piece of wire and one of the stakes to go in the ground, one of the driveway markers, and I marked off with just some painter's tape on the wire where the radio links were for the different bands. And it was just like a semi-portable thing I left out on the deck. I would take the whip off. I use the quick disconnect. So I just pop the whip off, and when I'm not using it, put it inside. I had to, bring coax out, but it was nice in the summer to have on occasion. And whether I was using it for wind link on 40 meters or to hunt some POTA on 20 or do a local net on 10, that worked nice. And you can move the radial around and give it a little bit of directionality depending if you're trying to go south or north or whatever. So I loved it. I like the idea, and I took it down now that it started snowing and stuff, but I liked it. I like that idea a lot. And there's been other variations with the elevated radials. Quarter waves are really nice, and I guess they're a lot more efficient when you do the elevated counterpoise radials. You avoid some of the ground loss.
Right. Yeah, I know. I'll have to say, I'll admit it first, and Paul, you can confess later if you feel so, led to. But like we get Todd crap all the time about his Buddy Pole Pro because that's literally his only antenna. He's got a Reliance antenna, and he has never taken it out and used it ever.
Why?
I have it out.
Why not?
When did you use it? When? I don't recall any episode we talked about it.
I haven't used it. It's out. It's in my bag. But
True.
I'm just so used to using it. I don't need to be in a tree. I don't have to throw it up. I just plop it down anywhere. It takes me 5 minutes.
Dude, lie to us and tell us that TSA confiscated for crying out loud.
Come on.
That's a bullshit excuse, man.
All right, I'll use it the next activation.
Yes,
I'll do.
Yeah. What? Like,
and while you're at it, film it.
Talk.
Yeah.
We want proof.
If anything, out of like our little Livestream group, Paul is the only one who is literally a tried and true Reliance guy. I'll take my Reliance antenna every once in a while, but like I always go to my. Go ahead.
Well, when I did the park with him, I was totally impressed with that antenna. I was shocked how well it worked. And I didn't he's talking about it, I didn't believe him. I'm like, yeah, it's just a wire. It's gonna be, it's not gonna be. And then I was like, oh, this is really good. It was really good.
Totally. And even better is you can change bands and you don't have to touch the antenna.
don't
You
touch
don't have
the
to get out
antenna.
of your seat.
Yeah, but
You
when I'm
stay
just
right
doing,
there, and you just go, "No, I'll change fans."
maybe I'll use
Sure,
I'll do mine. I'll use it on field day, winter field day.
I use mine quite a bit.
But,
That's
dude,
really great.
winter. We're gonna have a ton of antennas already up on winter field day. By the time you think about taking it out of your bag, you'll be like, I'm just gonna use whatever's there. It'll probably be a Reliance antenna.
I'm gonna use my Buddy Pole Pro just to stick it to you.
Just to stick it to you.
I'm working 20 meters all day. No, it's
the Buddy Pole Pro's got to be a really good antenna to travel with, though, because you don't need stakes. And and you can set up a tripod anywhere.
Much. well that's what I have. I have like one of those like little selfie sticks that turns into a tripod, and I used to use my luggage as like the hand to arm, and I just connected to that with a carabiner. But then now I don't have to bring the luggage. That's the only reason I would bring that freaking luggage bag, was to be able to raise
until
the
a homeless guy decided to take your luggage bag and steal it from you while you're busy doing an activation.
People used to like look at me. I'd be like walking through a park with my luggage, like, what is this dude doing? He's like dragging his airplane luggage through the park.
Another homeless guy walking through.
Yeah.
Just, all you gotta do is yell at him. TSA approved.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so Cody, Buddy Hex Pro, I love my Buddy Hex. I don't take it out any other time except for field day because it takes forever to set the damn thing up.
You did. We set it up and it failed, and we had to use the Buddy
That was the one. Okay, let's rewind the tape here a little bit.
Coming to the rescue as usual.
Because they sent me they sent me an incorrect long length wire for 20 meters, and we couldn't figure it out. And when I emailed Buddy Pole, they were like, "Oh yeah, we sent you the wrong wire," so they sent me a new one. So
it was that was a good story.
We'll get them next time.
That was a good one. Eric and I went to this park. I hadn't activated it yet, so we were pretty excited. They just got the antenna. We spent all the time setting it up, and we get to the end. I'm like, "This doesn't work. Like something's wrong." And it was getting like we were like 2 hours trying to figure the thing out, and they were like, "Screw it, we'll just bring out the Buddy Pole Pro." And then we activated the park in like 20 minutes, and we were done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was shame, tuck the tail, but we learned. I learned, I should say. But yeah, I do. I don't take my Buddy Hex Pro with me, Buddy Hex, everywhere because it's too much. It's a lot of work for sure, but it's an awesome antenna.
Eric, how long does it take you to set up your Buddy Hex?
About 15 minutes if I do it myself. So like if I have a bunch of other guys, doing it, the hardest part is just like doing what I call the dance, the wire dance, where you have to wrap around every element for every band into the upside down umbrella. But once you get somebody doing that, it's just a matter of clip, and just run through. And that's like kind of like the most hardest process, or most time consuming process, I should say. So, but once it's up, the only problem, man, and I can't wait till Buddy Pro, and I keep hearing that they've got something going out, but when they figure out how to do a Bluetooth module to plug in, so you can actually rotate the antenna from like your where you're currently sitting and residing, that's the first thing I'm buying, because like if I want to rotate the antenna to be able to use it, I have to get up from where I'm at, run across halfway wherever the antenna is, and then crank it and yell to the person, "Hey, do you hear what you're looking for?" And then, we stop. And so, it's a first world problem, but, it's a small minor issue.
I looked at them out at Dayton, and I was thinking about getting one for the van, but I don't believe I could swing it around and put up all the wires without falling off the van. The van is only 6 feet wide, and I don't think I'd need to have more than 6 feet to put up the 20-meter section of it. So.
Sounds like you need to get a trailer then.
So were you thinking of putting it on one of your masts, Chris?
Yeah, I wanted to be able to quickly deploy 20, 15, and 10 on.
I think what's the one from the guy in New Hampshire that I'm trying to think of?
I've seen that one too, but
VEQ Hex.
I would have
VEQ
to,
Hex. Yeah.
I would have to put it together on the ground and then try to pick it up onto the van to put it on the mast. I don't think I could put it on the mast and erect it because the edges of the sticks would be so far off the side of the van. I'd be off in Never Land trying to put them up.
Put it in. So the Buddy Hex is super light. I mean, that I'll give it that. The whole construction of that antenna, just the functionality, putting it together, all of the components are super light and wicked easy to, put together and assemble. Even the actual Mastworks mast is relatively easy to pack away, and set up. So I would say if you were going to want to go to a Hex, option and then just figure out how to do rotor control with it, then that might be a good fit for you.
Sounds good. Yeah, I like that. I like that antenna. Yeah, but, I mean, I used it. I think at field day. Did I use it at field? Was it field day? I used it at. I think.
Not maybe. I don't know.
Is that when the finals died?
Your finals blew, yes, and you were making contacts to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and
I
was using that antenna.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Contact's a contact.
Yeah, I couldn't understand. I'm like, why am I not making any contacts? Yeah. Freaking radio shit the bed.
Yeah.
Exciter power. That's really the new QRP, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
This past summer, I had set up. I thought I was gonna be clever. My wife and I like to go kayaking a lot, so I quickly put an antenna, a ham stick, and a counterpoise, and I mounted my FT891 in my kayak, and I tested it in the yard. Everything was working great. We drove, 15, 20 miles to a local pond. We got everything set up. I got out on the lake. I got the radio set up. Everything was working great. I was receiving signals, and I tried to make some contacts. I couldn't make any contacts. I somehow broke the microphone in between loading it in the car and getting to the pond. I was so disappointed. That was my biggest failure for the year, and that was sort of towards the end of the summer, so we never went out kayaking again. But maybe next spring I'll be able to do some kayak portable. But yeah,
you're better on a kayak than I am, Rob. If you're going to bring an HF radio out there, I'd be
that's brave. I agree.
I'd be so nervous that it would be in the drink.
Yeah, that's brave.
That's what dry bags are for.
Yeah, well, it's especially brave
if
for
you
me
remember
because
to
I
bring
can't
them.
swim.
Well, listen, guys, I got dry bags and I've tested them. As long as it's properly folded, and clipped. But
yeah,
So are you, Rob, is the plan to take the radio in the kayak to perhaps an island, or are you operating on the kayak on the water?
On the water.
Wow.
I had the counterpoise in the water. It was going to be great. I'm obviously not salt water like Walt does, but work with what you got, I guess. But yeah, it was all great. My sister and brother-in-law were with me. They're hams. And everybody was all excited, and yeah, the whole thing got screwed because I broke the microphone.
Fresh water's as good as dirt. The only time we get lucky here is this time of year in the winter with all the road salt, and then I can actually throw out a counterpoise in the road.
He breaks out in the middle of the road, throwing his radials.
You just gave me an idea for a video. That's awesome.
That's a great idea.
All right, Mike,
Who needs an ocean when you got road salt?
You gotta call the town crew, drop some extra salt for me. Here's $20.
Right, back it up, fellas. Back it up. Come on.
Back it up.
Yep.
Following around one of those salt trucks all day. It's okay.
Awesome.
All right, Mike, you got video, you got photos here. We got to bring this into the stage here. Okay.
There we go. All right. So, anybody? All right. Let's see if someone can guess whether you're on the stream or in the chat. And anyone recognize the windings are not the best. This is me. But anyone recognize what this might be?
Yeah, Smoking Ape would be really annoyed with you, but I don't know.
Okay, so I had the idea.
It says K6ARK.
Yeah.
I had the idea to do what I called the Rybakark, to do a 4-to-1 with the K6ARK with Adams kit, to do a 4-to-1. So for a Rybakoff antenna, and so he does have directions to build a 4-to-1. If you look, I've never seen anyone with videos on YouTube or any instructions, but Adam was great. I asked him, some things, and I went to go build it, and I was all excited because I'm going to build the world's smallest Ribakoff antenna. And I mean, you just look at that thing now when you see it on the BNC connector and the wire, everything. I mean, it looks beautiful. And I have tried 3 times. I have gone through like 3 boards. I've had to buy my own magnet wire and everything. And I just suck at soldering. Like I keep getting cold solder joints and shorts and stuff. And I mean, it looks beautiful. It doesn't work. You can't even hear with it. It's that bad. But
well, you know, dude, like I don't see your solder joints as bad as Frank's, but you know.
Yeah, but I will say so. You know, there's the failure. I tried 3 times and stuff. And now that I've changed, and if you followed my channel, you see I kind of made some change. I downsized my 705 bag, and I got room for the tuner in there, but I'm not carrying the tuner with me regularly. I might just cave and end up making a dipole. Like, and, you know,
that's it. We're done.
We'll see. We shall see. But that's a failure. I was really excited to do it. You know, and like I said, Adam was great. When I had my first issue, I sent him that photo, and let's see, I got to go back. I mean, Adam was able to look at this photo and a couple others. He's like, "Oh, it looks like you got a problem with this particular solder joint or whatever." I'm like, "How do you know this?" Like, and whatnot. But you know, it is what it is. You know, you try, and you know, antenna building is fun. I like doing some of the kits and stuff, but it's not like I'm not a smoking ape, or I'm not Chuck or Adam. I'm not that good with it and stuff. You know, I learn and I've built some stuff, but I might have to tap out on this. We'll see. I might just, like I said, have to flip to a dipole or something, which I do want a QRP dipole. I do want something small like that.
Well, so that's, I think that's your challenge. So like you're thinking too miniature. So like, let's make it a little bit, you know, bigger. So your man hands can, like, you know, deal with the solder joints and stuff like that. That might help.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, that's one of the failures. I was excited to do it because it was be something different, but you know, you can only try so many times before it's like, okay, it's time to move on. And or maybe I'll think of something else. We'll see. But like I said, my approach now with keeping my 705 in the car in a small bag, so it's ready to go. I've kind of been focused a little bit more on resonant antennas. So maybe I just make a dipole, which I would like to have a very small one. So that this might be the way to go. Nothing wrong with dipoles.
Totally. All right. So anybody else got any successes?
So while he's talking about soldering, it's like it's one of those things where that is probably one of those things I learned more about this year. I was able to do a little bit more, and I created an attenuator and like a little clock, and you know, did a few soldering joints on a couple antennas there. But that's one thing I kind of picked up this year, that I kind of, you know, just, you know, trying to continue to expand all those different things in amateur radio that we can do, and just each year just picking up something new and trying to learn it and work it and do it as much as possible any way you can. And so obviously I get some cold solder joints and things too, but overall it's like not too bad. But I think, do you have just like a regular stick soldering iron, or do you actually have one that you can control the temperature with, Mike?
You can control the temperature with it. It's not a high end one. It's not like, and that's probably where I need to go next, is like, because a lot of times when I got into ham radio, there was a lot of tools and things. I didn't have crimpers. I didn't have a soldering iron, and it can be intimidating. You're like, I don't know how much I'm going to need this, or if I'm going to stick with the hobby or whatever. And so it's a cheap one from Amazon, but it's worked for a number of things, but it's not the best.
Getting one from Xtronic. I know a lot of people like the Hey-Coos, whatever, but
I think it's an Xtronic one.
Is it?
I think it's an Extronic one that I have.
See, I've used mine. Yeah. I've got 3020. It's pretty decent. I've had good luck with it. So
yeah, it's like I said, it's worked fine. So I don't know if it's the tool or if it's the tool using the tool.
Or the tool. You're right. Exactly. The tool versus the tool. Right. Yeah. I love. I used to have like an old Weller, and it probably got. It was used for like burning other things, and so I finally just spent the money and bought a Hako 800. Listened to ham radio workbench and spent the money, and I I love that little iron, and I could think the one thing I learned very quickly was buy a bunch of different tips because you just can't do everything with one tip.
No, you've got to be very versatile in your tips for sure. So
yeah, and I have different tips. I've never changed them. That's probably a problem, but
that would probably be a good start. Yeah,
it's like using the same antenna over and over again when you have another.
You're doing something like you were.
All right.
Mike, when you're doing something as small as you were, there's some really small, fine tips out there, and I can send you a link for a couple of them that I've used, and really that fine little tip makes a huge difference.
That might be a way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's actually really helpful. So the tip on my Weller is way too big for a lot of the small stuff, but the Kaiweet's little like the pine sill.
I wondered about that too.
It's got a much smaller tip. It's got a much better temperature control. Like it makes doing small stuff a lot easier.
The fine tips are like way. Once I bought a bunch of them, I was like, oh my gosh, my soldering skills level have gone like from like here to all the way up here, and I was like, oh well, I actually can solder.
Yeah.
But that and like I learned from Vince V6LK is buying all of that. I can't think of the solder paste that he recommends all the time. That stuff is like liquid gold. Once you buy it, it is like the best stuff. You just put it on everything, and it literally just like makes your soldering like look professional.
Okay.
Hey, speaking of Vince, I gotta say I got something in the mail.
Oh.
Not the day before yesterday, and I was very impressed with the packaging. I got myself a little Morse tutor.
Oh, nice! Is that the new one he's putting out?
Yeah, that's the brand new one.
Wow, I've got the older one.
Yeah,
like I've got the old like kind of smaller display. Yeah. Wow, you got the nicer display.
That's more like the Morse Reno.
Yeah, that's the Morse Reno. Oh, so you got the more. So he's upgraded it then. Wow, I haven't paid attention.
Yeah. So Carlos recently did a video of him unboxing it and kind of doing some CQ on it. I'm not at that level yet. My knowledge of that language is still very foreign, but I have said that one of my goals for 2025 is I'm gonna get my A license for parachute, and I'm gonna learn at least the basics of Morse code.
And he's gonna combine both, so he'll be able to do Morse code on the way down.
Vince is my only Morse code contact, but I that's almost like a point of pride.
Was that when you were on the Canadian border or on the U.S. side? I can't remember.
When I was in Canada with him. Yeah, and we did it on 6 meters, dummy load to dummy load.
So it was local load.
but his face his face was absolutely priceless because I messaged him before, like a day or two before. I'm like, hey, you got an extra key? And he's like, of course. And I was like, okay, I want to do a CW contact. He's probably thinking, why doesn't he bring his own damn key? And then we get there and we're finishing up. He's like, oh, we got to do the CW contact. And I was like, yes. And I'm like, let's do it on 6. And he's like, I like that. That's awesome. That's different. And he gets the key out and I'm like, all right, you got to give me a lesson. He's like, what? I'm like, I've never done CW ever. And he was like, oh my gosh, like really. And so, but he was patient and like we spent like 15-20 minutes and but that's how I roll. I am a legitimate portable operator. I had somebody teach me FT8 out at a park. Like I learned it out at a park. We picked one that had electrical so that we could, if the computers needed to be charged and stuff. But I play in the field. I want to learn in the field. And he was an amazing teacher. And I got to follow through and start doing it some more. And I might have to pick up one of those at some point.
That's a good video.
But,
I was thoroughly impressed to watch the contact.
FT8 in the field is so damn boring.
Boring.
Like if I'm going to sit there and I'm going to look at my computer screen, I might as well just sit at home.
Now, if you watched my last video and you saw what you went about boring, you tried to do FT8 on 2 meters and 6 meters when there's no openings and no contest, and you're just sitting there calling, and there's no noise, nothing, and it's just like, oh my gosh. But
the wheel.
If anything though, like digital modes in the field, the nice thing is you can enjoy your meal, enjoy your coffee,
Yeah.
and your lunch, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
and a 4-course meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how a lot of these guys, like a few parks that I've seen, like they rack up like 6,000-7,000 contacts there, and I'm just like, that's all FT8. Like, dude,
Yeah.
that's a lot of quiet. Like, are you reading a book? Because you'd have to.
Now I did do this year on Winter Field Day, and my problem with Winter Field Day is it's during basketball season, and so I'm still waiting for the January schedule for my son. So I don't know when I'm going to be. I can't make plans until the beginning of the month, like when I'm going to be able to go out or not. And I only had about an hour to get out for Winter Field Day, but I at least said if I'm only going out for an hour, I'm going to do something different. And that was the first time I did JS8 call, was Winter Field Day. I set it up and I did it from the park. And I was like, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do a new mode. I'm going to do something different for Winter Field Day outside of my element. And it was good. It was fun.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Should have
I'm
done
glad to hear
PSK 31.
Yeah.
That's this year for him.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to do FT8 this year. Let's see how it goes.
JT65.
Yeah.
I'll be the only FT8 station on for Winterfield Day, calling Winterfield Day.
That's right. Actually, you might have a couple of roamers out there that, just decide they want to do it because they can.
The rebels, the rogues, the guys that, hey, we're going to rack up the points and not get points for it. But anyway.
Basically.
All right. Well, is it, any other? I mean, based off of Mike's list there. So, any successes? I mean, we've kind of talked about some of our failures there, but
Did you have a couple, Eric? You had listed?
Well, so like I had some, but they're kind of weak in terms of like successes. I mean, obviously, I mentioned the winter soda hike, which I thought was a blast. Like, I still haven't finished putting that video out, and I have to say, hanging out, it's always awesome when you can get together with a bunch of guys and be able to just go out and do something like hiking and be able to, pretty much do that portion. But then at the very end, you radio is always like one of my like highlights. So like whatever it is, whatever mode, whatever, activity it is, as long as the radio is kind of a part of it, I always just like, it just makes that day much better. And so, Winterfield, that winter soda hike was always a big highlight for me. And it kind of spurred me on, and actually spurred a couple of guys on in our club, because now they're actually going out and doing more Winterfield Day. I keep saying Winterfield Day. Winter hikes for soda activation. So it's good to see, because it's just like, okay, that, next time they go to do it, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to get closer. But, I have to blame Paul for this, because, the Live Free and Ham hosts always love to blame each other for all of their, purchases and anything else in between. But like, Paul has always been like, dude, I got to hike all the 4,000 footers. So like now, after I've done my one hike, I'm like, all right, my bucket list is now gone from this big to like this big. And I'm like, okay, we got to get all the 4,000 footers done, or at least a good percentage of them in the spring, summer. And so, I'm kind of gearing all that up, and it's the cool part is like, dude, like I'm thinking like, all right, I can now start building. And this is where I say a lot, like, and I'm learning very quickly, like a hobby is 1,000 hobbies of other, a hobby of 1,000 hobbies. And so like, I'm already at this point, like, oh, now I can build my soda pack. I've got to think about radios, and I got to think about like small miniature. And like, I'm already like, anytime like either Mike or anybody else brings up like small and miniature, I'm like, oh, I got to have that. I got to, it's got to be in my soda pack next. And it's like, but so that, I think for me, that's a kind of one of the big things that kind of spurred me on, and one of my successes at least, because I'm not going to put in the video that I'm releasing, but there was a section where I did a confession in the video, and I'm not going to release it, but I was like, dude, I'm turning 50 in January, and I'm like, the two guys that I was with, Paul and Keith, KC10ZK, both of those guys are younger than me, and they were like 50 miles ahead of me, and there was only a 2-mile trail. It was like you watch the video, and if you could catch it, you'll see that I was lagging at a certain point, and I was like huffing and puffing, and there was a section in there that I was stripping down, and actually I referred him. I happened to be wearing Mike's AM shirt at the time, and I'm like, Mike, I'm sorry, I got to take your AM shirt off because I'm sweating to death. And so it was like, I was like, man, I thought I prepared for this, but I wasn't, ready for the terrain and stuff like that. But, it spurred me on. I'm like, I want to do more soda. And so, I think that for me, that's a success. And I have to thank Paul for that. You're dragging me all, out there and having fun.
Good thing I didn't go with you. You guys still be on the mountain, or at least I would be.
I would airlifted out.
I mean, like, where's Todd? He's still working his way up.
2-mile trail.
Eric, how long?
It's not the current legs of voltage; it's the general legs. The extras are.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I gotta announce a big win for me this year. Right, I got an email today. Today was the 1-year anniversary from my first video.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
in this last year, I've gone from 0 subscribers to 2.4 thousand.
Wow.
I put out, I think I'm up to like 120 videos for the year.
Oh, you're looking at your YouTube stats? I got to pull that back up again.
I'm going off my memory here. I'm not looking at it, but I want to say it's about 120 videos for the year. Just absolutely fantastic year for me getting my start in YouTube, and I got to say I couldn't have done any of this without all of you. So thank you for helping me have my big win for the year.
I want to back Paul.
Raise a
on
glass
that,
to you.
too. Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Paul, on a great job. Well done there. I am 3 subscribers from 100 this year. I started my YouTube in January, but I just surpassed. I'm about 10,000, a little over 10,000 downloads, not 10,300, I think it was today, for my podcast. And I'm 2 more episodes away from 50. So I'm hoping to get those done yet before the end of the year here.
Nice.
So I'm pretty excited about that. It's been a big growth year for me as well, and that's a true success. And I've been really happy about that at the end of the year here, for the progress I've made throughout the year on all that. And I continue to have listeners from all over the world, and it just amazes me when I see some of those other foreign countries pop in there, and it's only maybe again 1% or maybe 2 or 3 people, but it's still just that it's somewhere outside the U.S. It's like it's growing that much. So it's really cool. So
yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Once I figured out how Buzzsprout worked and I looked at all the stats, I was pretty amazed by, Live Free and Ham. I'm like, holy crap, like people in New Zealand are listening to us, which to me was kind of like, I was like, damn. But yeah, we've been doing, I think this year for us coming up, I think our podcast, we've got some big plans. We're going weekly. So that's going to be fun.
Yep.
So
starting the new year, man.
We've been recording like mad. It's like, I mean, it's just been like, it seems like we're recording almost every day, but we got a couple of weeks off because we're what are we up through February? Or we got into February. We're backed up.
Wow.
So yeah, so we're gonna.
That's including that's your whole video and podcast, right? All in one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because we just take the podcast like and just throw it out there. It's not like it's a special video or anything.
Right.
But
well, it sort of is. They get to listen to your, complaining and moaning and groaning about, work and whatnot. Again, you got to be a Patreon member for that to be able to hear, the pains and the
just be glad I didn't say anything today. I had a lot of bad news today at work. We're not going to get into it.
Well, I'm sure we'll cover it on Sunday.
Yeah. Which we're not recording. Remember,
we're not recording, right?
But no, I've been pretty. I've been looking at it, and I had some. One of the guys showed up at the club, wanted to talk to me at a club meeting, wanted to talk about POTA, and he recognized my voice. He goes, "Do you do a podcast?" And I was pretty psyched. I'm like, "Holy crap! Someone recognized." I'm like getting famous too, because like Eric and Paul now, you can't get on the radio without someone knowing them. So it's been
everybody
fun.
just loves my dog.
Yeah.
And everyone wishes I have a dog. Every time we do an activation, it's like, hey, why doesn't Eric have a dog? I'm like, because Paul's the one that has the dog.
Yeah.
What it is.
And I'm hoping to get my extra. I'm up to what is it? section 6. I'm
Sub-element
at
6.
sub-element 6. I'm at 86%, so I might be moving on to
Moving on
7.
up.
What'd you say?
Moving on
I'm
up.
getting I'm getting there.
Yeah, we can't be doing this for another year, Todd. I'm gonna say first and foremost,
Paul's having too much.
Get off the pod is this phrase.
Yeah. Well, he's having too much fun. Like he's all like serious or not, and then all of a sudden that comes up and he gets this shitty grin on his face, like I'm gonna screw this guy.
We're not doing any questions tonight. That's all the reason why I'm here.
Yeah, well, this is not a true live free and ham podcast, so that's we'll not subject people to the torture.
I got to share this real quick. So Michael W2MVP in the chat, Hobbies and Humans. He's on the cover of the extra book, the new one that just came out. I took that photo. We took some photos a couple hamventions ago. We did a POTA on Presque Isle on Lake Erie in Pennsylvania. It was gorgeous, and got some nice photos of us playing radio on the beach. And the league reached out and they're like, "Hey, can we pay you to use some of the photos?" I was like, "Of course." Wow. I didn't realize they're giving us as much as they did, but we gave everything to POTA, like full disclosure. We decided before we got a check or knew much, like, all right, yeah, we'll give them the photos that both of us took, and we made a nice donation to POTA because we wouldn't be doing what we were doing if it wasn't for Parks on the Air, right? So, if anybody, hey, last minute, idea, you want to make a donation before the end of the year, consider Parks on the Air. But first day, and he's like, "Oh, I want to go stop over at the ARL and buy a field day shirt."
He didn't even know
field day shirt, and he walks and he sees this. He's on the cover of the book, and he's only a general,
which is hilarious.
So he needs the book.
Nice.
So he buys the book, and then when he's like checking out or whatever, he's like, "Hey, it's me on the cover." And so they gave him like the study guide or the little book, whatever they sell with it, like they're like, "All right, take this for free."
They should have given him an extra just for that purpose, because they should have fact checked that one first.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude, man. Well, that kind of dovetails to like what we've been doing with Northeast Ham Radio. I mean, I love hanging out with you guys. It's always fun once a month to be able to just like not have any agenda and just come and hang out with you guys and spend some time, talking about stuff in the Northeast, because hey, ham radio in the Northeast in general is it's alive and well, dude. And I'm pretty psyched to hang out with you guys once a month, be able to do this stuff.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah.
So.
See, Todd, you're not alone. KD2WLN says I'm riding him about his extra too.
Cody KD2WL, he was my first contact on 60 meters. I recognize his call.
Wow.
Well, if I'm thinking of who it is, Cody.
That's Cody.
Yeah, he was at Fort Drum for a while, and he used to.
Fort Dummer.
I don't know if he was 10 Mountain or not, but he'd hunt from the fort and 5'9" Fort Drum, and or he'd go out and activate. And I think I got him park to park on 60. It was my first contact on 60 meters. I was like, oh, I got to give this a try and see if I can tune. I think I had an 80 meter end fed out. I'm like, let's see if it'll tune in emergency mode. And sure enough, I think that was my first real experience using emergency mode on the 7300.
He's a little bit further away now. He's in Southern California,
he's not like on the left coast.
You can still get him.
Yeah.
So Mike, I have to ask the one question. So now that you've got the little net process set up in your Subaru there, has it been working out for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I you have given me anxiety every time I open up the boot and stuff, like it's gonna fall right out, but no, it's been fine.
I have anxiety every time you have that little net thing. I'm like, dude, that's just gonna fall out. That's gonna fall every time. No, it's gonna fall out.
No, it's worked fine. And one of the things I did, because we have, and I got to get him on a live stream one of these days. But I'll be mindful of Izzo, because I know Izzo's afraid of snakes. But because we have a snake, we have one of like
logging contacts, but yeah,
the laser heat thermometer things, and because we have a couple we have a snake and we have a gecko and stuff. But I brought it in when we had a real cold snap, like or streak a week or so ago. I wanted to take the temperature and see what it was of the Denko battery that was in the car, what the ICOM, and so I brought it in. It was like 10 degrees or so outside, and it was fine, because I would be sensitive, like they're in a bag and everything else, and then the car, it might be 10 degrees outside, but you're in the car, you got the heat on, and it doesn't immediately turn to freezing, when you go inside and this and that. But I'm going to be checking it. So in trying to see also temperature wise, how is this going to hold up if you have that radio. And it might be something if people, are keeping HF gear in their mobile, and you're in the Northeast or Alaska or places you got cold weather, it might be something that you might want to keep in mind if you're running off a battery. And stuff to, be mindful of the temperature and stuff. But so far so good.
Yeah, one of the things I actually bought was one of those battery wraps that kind of keeps the battery temperature the same. I wasn't smart enough to buy one of the batteries that actually had internal heating, components in it, but I bought one of those battery wraps because I've got my All-Star node in the back of the truck, and I needed a way to be able to keep it running all the time. And that battery that I have is a 12 amp hour battery. It's a Bio-Eno, and I'm like, dude, this thing's gonna take a dive hard in wintertime. And so I was like, oh well, I'll get this little battery wrap, and it seems to be working out so good. I mean, I haven't had any problems. But I'm also very concerned it's going to drain the battery in the very cold temperatures when we finally get to those state. But we'll see how that goes. And
just get a couple hand warmers and wrap it up in a bandana.
True, I could do that. Yeah. My wife sounds like, what the hell are you doing in your truck? I'm just trying to keep my batteries warm.
Meanwhile, there's no heat in his house. He says wife's freezing, and he's out there keeping the batteries. I got to keep the batteries warm.
Yep.
Honey, we have no heat. There's no electricity. Help me. Hold on. I got to get the battery. The battery needs to be heated.
Batteries. The dog's suffering. He's outside. No, the batteries come first.
Yeah, these things are expensive. I got to protect them.
Totally.
My experience with batteries, and even though I don't understand them as well as probably you guys do, but with the LiPo batteries that I used for the flying the airplanes, those things in the winter lose half their power or their life when using it. So in the summer, let's say I get 8 minutes of flying because the battery stays warm. If the batteries are cold, I'll get down to 4. Half, it's fully charged, and it'll only push out 4 hours or 4 minutes of juice. So in the real winter, when I do go to the field, I leave it in the car, and I have them either the car heater going or put it someplace warm, because if they get too cold, you lose half the juice. And I'm sure that's the same thing with the Bio-Enos. The colder they get, they probably don't last as long.
Todd, I'm curious, right?
Yep.
What is the fun in an 8-minute flight? Never mind a 4-minute flight. A 4-minute flight is pointless. But what is the fun in an 8-minute flight?
Well, if you come out to the field, when you're looking up and your neck's like that for 8 minutes, you want to come down. You don't really. 8 minutes is a long time. You're probably the top range is 5 minutes, and you're pretty much good. Unless you go up on a glider and you got one of those what do they call those lounge chairs, those zero gravity chairs, and you can just sit up there and it can float around and you don't have to do much and you can look up. But 8 minutes, that's a long time. I'll tell you. It really
my wife
is.
says 1 minute's good, but anyway.
Yeah. No, I have this little, it's an older plane. It's a little micro plane. It's a MiG, and it runs on a 1-cell little battery. And I get 3 minutes of time. It's 3 minutes from the minute I plug it on, launch it, and land it before it's dead. And that's a little quick. It's a couple laps around the field, and then that's it. But it's a fun little plane to fly. But yeah, most of them go gassers. Even the guys that fly the gas planes, they could go up there for 20 minutes, and they're normally down in 5 to 8 minutes. They just you get tired of doing it. You need a break. A lot of concentration. I can't concentrate for more than 2 minutes, let alone 8. Half the time I'm like, where the hell's my plane?
I'm flying? What?
Yeah.
Who told me I was flying?
Yeah, we have a kid at the field, and he's autistic, and when I think he's 18 now. He's getting better, but when he was a kid, when he was 15, 16, he'd be flying his plane, and all of a sudden he'd turn around and start having a conversation with someone. Nick, your plane. Oh yeah. But at least in ham radio, if you just stop talking or you don't respond, nothing bad happens. You might piss some people off, but we have some major issues if you're not paying attention. But yeah, back to the batteries. That's what I've learned about them. The colder it is, the less. And even now, my brother has a Tesla, and even he says like when he goes into the mountains and stuff, the charge doesn't last nearly like it's like half the time it is when he's down, when it's warm. So electric cars shouldn't be sold in Alaska or the Northeast in the wintertime.
And that's kind of my point of like some of the things we talk about around winter field days when we want people to go out and test things and check things out. Having a winter field day event is like, how long will that battery last out there if you're operating 100 watts versus maybe 10 watts, doing digital. And so, it makes a big difference. And unless you really go out and test it, you don't know how long that's going to happen. So it's always it's good just to go try, again, different power levels and things like that. And if you wrap your battery in a heater or hand warmers, will last longer than if you have it inside a trailer or have it, just outside.
Well, right. And I've had instances in, the complete opposite. Like Eric and I worked, we were up on Pac-Monadnock once, and the sun was like blaring down on our, and the shit would just turn off. Yeah. Like it got too hot.
It got too hot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you got that extreme too. So,
Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Man, first world problems. That's what the problem is.
Speaking of the batteries, I'm curious about Chris. Like with his, are you operating off a battery and like what batteries do you have in the van? Like what's your setup there when it comes to power?
It's nuclear powered.
Yeah.
I have a few ways of powering the van. I've got a 7K generator on board, but I also have 5 200 amp hour batteries on board as well. They aren't anything special. They came off a transmitter site. Price tag was right. They were going to be tossed out. And got a charger on them. They charge off the vehicle while I'm driving. They charge off the generator when the generator is running, and that's about it. I can't tell you too much about them. But I did have a question for Marvin, if I could jump in real quick.
Yeah,
Marvin,
no.
you're the winter field day guru, right?
That's right.
Okay. So I head out with my van on generator power. What am I? What classification am I?
It'll be mobile.
You are a misnomer.
You are an anomaly. You can be mobile. I guess you could do indoors, but I'd classify it as mobile.
Okay.
You can literally pick that up and just, whether you're like a trailer or an RV, you could, in your van situation, you can pick it up and move and go somewhere else with it if you needed to. So you're now a mobile classification.
So if you're in an RV and you throw up an antenna on the RV, you are considered mobile, even though you're not moving? Okay.
Yes.
We're going to be activating the van with the club this winter. And just want to make sure I have that correct. So
where are you doing this? Because I might take a little detour from our winter field day to head that way.
So we'll be in Middlesex, Vermont, at someone's house on a very long driveway, sitting about, I think it's around 1,800 vertical feet.
Sounds like us.
So we'll literally be like 100 feet below you because we're at like 1,700 feet. So
on a long driveway,
pretty much.
So how many in this group will have internet? Is there any way we could do a live stream of all of the?
We will be live streaming. Yes.
Okay. Can we throw that together on this group?
Let's offline talk about that and see if we can do some live tandem live streaming, because I think that would be really cool to do.
Okay.
Izzo, you coming up?
Van down by the river. Exactly.
Are you coming up
more on the mountain? But yeah.
It's a Chris Farley class. I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, there we go. There we go. Now you've opened up the class structure.
Cool.
You have to be within 100 feet of the river.
Yeah, exactly. Dude,
That is
awesome.
a new class we're going to do. The Chris Farley.
It doesn't matter the power level. Just run the Chris Farley class.
I need to get a purple sports jacket.
Yes.
Wasn't that what he was wearing?
Yep.
How do you get Fletch class?
You're a huge embarrassing failure.
There you go. All right. Prepared totally. Oh man, yeah, dude, that would be awesome. You should just like introduce like a specific class for Chris Farley class. I'm all for that.
Gotta be 100 feet of a river.
That would
Gotta
totally
be in a
confuse lot
van
of people.
down by the river.
Maybe we'll create that as an objective for next year. You got to operate near a river within 100 feet.
Oh, dude, I would be all over that one, guaranteed.
We should just start at Chris Farley's on the air. Like, as long as you're 100 feet from a river, it doesn't have to be like a state park or anything. Just as long as it has river in the name.
I'm doing CFOTA. Sorry, what's CFOTA? Chris Farley on the air.
CQC photo. CQC photo.
Our club.
Well, so Eric, you could get the rail trail. Right?
Oh, dude, that would be
you're
awesome.
working on the
Literally
kilo
right by a pond. Yeah.
right next to the Nashua River.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, I'm all over that. We got to do that.
Our club here in Vermont wanted to do breweries on the air.
Oh, dude, I'm all for that. Come on, dude.
Awesome.
That would be awesome.
Like in the parking lots.
Dude, I'm doing it inside the brewery. I don't care about it in the parking lots. I mean, New England weather sucks. You know, so being
An
able
hour
to do
into
that.
the activation in your shit face.
You work PX, you need to take a drink. If you work
5-9, whatever, dude. I don't care.
work a new state, you need to take a drink.
Oh, dude. Oh, your audio cut out there.
Your audio died, Izzo.
Dude, breweries on the air. We gotta work that one. That's gonna be awesome. We should do that during the the $20 antenna challenge. That is a bonus category.
Do it.
Oh, you gotta have extra points if you make a antenna out of beer cans.
Oh, dude.
I was just gonna say that what Mike said. The distilleries on the air. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
If you can tune up, basically a still pot, you get extra points.
So you could do a rove. It'd be like doing a rove of breweries.
If you do a brewery, a distillery, and a winery, or we'll throw in cideries just for the hell of it. Like if you do those 4 in the same day, and it's not a rove, we're going to call it a bender. And
dude, you got a gold mine here. This is awesome.
We can do it.
We're gonna flush this out after offline, and we're gonna come back to this next month, and we're gonna launch this. This is awesome.
Bender.
We'll finish at LaBelle Winery.
Dude,
Right.
the Bender Award would be awesome.
Yeah.
most work breweries.
And I guess like at the end, instead of like saying QRT or whatever at the end, it becomes like CQ Uber.
Dude, that's awesome. A designated driver will be like an extra few points.
Yeah.
Dude, oh man, we gotta work that one. I gotta, all right, yeah. Sadly,
Great
now
idea.
I've got more things to do on my plate. Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Oh man. All right, well,
No voice keyer allowed because you need to be able to not slur your speech.
yeah, exactly. You gotta be able to make the contact clearly. That's worth 4 points right there. Oh man.
Fucking Jody.
That's awesome. So totally, dude. Oh man. Well, that is totally opened up a whole entire, market.
Excuse me, I need somebody sober to blow into my radio.
Wait. You switch. You've got power out, SWR, and your blood alcohol level.
ABC.
Be able to blend them too. Yeah.
I blew a 1.9, so I'm only limited to 10 watts.
10 watts.
So 4 feet.
Oh dude, man, this is awesome. We'd have probably Alcoholics Anonymous on our case, but hey, why not? It'd be good for the first year.
I think we've taken a 90-degree right turn in this episode.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
Hey, we're
Put
talking
one in the
about
chat if you want to do breweries on the air.
Yeah, we're doing goals for 2025.
25. Well, that's definitely a surprise for this year.
0.08.
5.9 and 0.08.
Yeah.
Dude, I can only imagine that, like, you have to work at, like, building up your alcohol content to be able to get to, like, a 1 to 1.
The higher the alcohol level, the more points you get. That's
The
your
more points you
multiplier.
get, the multipliers you get.
You multiply by 0.08 or by 0.16.
Oh God, man, that would be horrible.
0.23.
How do you confirm that level? Like, when you submit your logs, like, what do you submit as an addendum, like a police report?
It'd be like
Fertilizer report.
It'll be like
exactly.
it'll be like breaking news. 3,000 ham radio operators died of alcohol poisoning doing their
breweries on the air.
Breweries on the air. They just wouldn't stop.
Oh,
one more contact.
Gotta keep going, honey. I'm sorry.
It's gonna kill ham radio.
Oh, dude, that is gold. I gotta work that one. I don't know how I'm gonna work that one, but it's gonna be a lot of work for that one.
Our club call sign over here, and we'll be using it in Winter Field Day, is W1BD. That's Whiskey One Beer Drinker.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. That's an easy one to work CW and voice. Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. Oh man, dude.
So Izzo, are you coming up to hang out with us on Winter Field Day? You got plans down there?
No, you're a little buzzy there.
Yeah, feedback.
All right, sorry.
No, loose wire or something, Izzo.
Just unplug it and plug it back in.
He's going to chat.
It works every time.
Reboot.
Yeah, it's something to do with this mic.
Yep.
Radio Shack. Relax.
No.
You're still buzzing there, bud. Yeah. You got some time to work on it, no problem. We'll keep plugging away. So
just call Ape, and Ape will tell you to unplug it and plug it back in.
With a mix 31.
With a
at least 12 wraps.
Double wrapped. Yep. Insulated. Izzo's always in an ice hut. He is the quintessential ice hut. Oh man. So what have we covered?
Batman.
Yep. I don't know. Anybody got any interesting surprises or failures they want to throw into the ring that we haven't talked about?
I'll mention this. This is a little cheesy, but this was like definitely one of like the most like heartwarming things that happened to me this year, and it was earlier in the beginning of the year. I did a live stream, late shift, and it was clearly, and we've all worked kids before when kids have gotten on the air and stuff, and so I worked a kid and got an email later that night or the next day from the ham saying, "Oh, thank you so much for working my kid." They were bragging about being on YouTube all night and kept rewatching it and everything and stuff, and which was nice. I'm like, "Oh, that's great." Like I'll send you out a QSL card. And so QSL card, I actually had stickers at the time and put like, I think a couple stickers in the envelope. And I wrote in hand on the back of the card, like a note to the child, just saying, dear so-and-so, you sounded great on the air. Hopefully, one day you'll get your license. That my son got his license when he was 11. And it's something that, you can totally do. Ham radio is a lot of fun, and we hope to get more kids like you in the hobby. And just like a quick note like that, right? Send it out. And a couple days later, as I got it back, and the father was like, "Oh my gosh, that meant so much to the kid. And he had said that the kid struggles with reading and some intellectual things and stuff, and like it just is like you have no idea. Like, and that was just like, oh, and you get that email, and it's just like, we're out there just having fun, playing on the radio, throwing stuff on YouTube. We're amateurs, we don't know what we're doing or whatever, but it's always special when you get like that feedback from somebody who watches a video or works you on the air, or somebody in the club that you interact with, and you encourage them to do something that they wouldn't do, or you have just that much of a positive impact and everything. At the end of it, it was like, this is it beats getting, 1 million likes and subscribers and everything else when you get, those comments and stuff. Because we all get the comments, and we know we've made it when we get a comment down below that's like, the music's too loud. And but you get like those positive things like, oh yeah, this is cool, I'm gonna go try and build this antenna, or I never thought about that, I'm gonna give this a try, and or whatever. That means so much, and at the end of the day, like, that just, it was a surprise, and I was like, that's just that made my day. Like, I was showing my wife, I'm like, look at this email that I got, and so that was a nice way to start the year. It was back in the winter. That it was, like I said, it was a surprise, a success, whatever you want to call it. But that was special.
Yeah, dude, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think probably some of us at some level have all experienced kind of that. And I think it's I hate to get mushy, but it's like, it's heartwarming, because it's like really kind of why we do our channels. Like, I mean, I'm not here for the money. We all know we're not making millions. We're not going to get there, anytime soon. But when I hang out with Todd and Paul and talk about ham radio, and people see us, and like the kids that we bump into, they're like, oh dude, I knew who you are. It's like it just makes like that much, that more of experience that much better. But more so, like, I'm all about like making, like you said, Mike, the hobby the more important part of it, like the connections and the radio and all that aspect.
It's I say it, and it's cheesy, but I say it's the people that make ham radio awesome. It's not the antenna, it's not the radio, it's not the coax or whatever. Good coax, good antennas, good radios help, but at the end of the day, it's the people. And when you go out to some of the larger ham fests, if you go to a hamcation, a hamvention, or you go down to Huntsville and these things, and you see everybody, and you see these people you interact with on the air and online, and you just realize it's the people at the end of the day. That's what makes this hobby special, is the people, and it's helping each other out, along the way. I had a lot of Elmers that encouraged me to continue on and go beyond being just a tech, and I've been very fortunate. Not everyone has good clubs and good support systems where they are and stuff, and I've always tried. After that, I realized like what I have is special, but I want to try to ham it forward and help others along the way and be there for them too.
I hear you, Mike. I mean, I was like you. I didn't expect to get anything past the tech, and then I met Eric, and now look at I'm on this, doing live streams and podcasts and hanging out with people. I mean, I've met so many people that I would have never met, and it's really just, it's cool. And our goal, and at least when Eric and I first started talking about doing the podcast, was just, hey, let's just promote ham radio and get it out there, and it's good.
I mean, that's exactly why I started my channel back during COVID, during 2021, was just to be able to give back and help people learn and get more people involved in amateur radio. So absolutely, it's great to be able to do that. And anytime you can help. I mean, I've helped from teenagers all the way to guys that are 60-some years old, just getting into the hobby and figuring it out. It's like. And when I left Tennessee and moved up here, and I had one guy kept calling me once in a while, and it was great. And he goes, "Man, you're the reason I stayed with the club, and I got an amateur radio." So it's cool when you can hear those messages for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this past fall, I finally got my. Well, he's 13 now, but he was 12 at the time. I got my 12-year-old son to finally make his first ham radio contact.
Oh, dude, nice.
Awesome. That was pretty good. He's a lot of I'm one of the leaders of his scout troop. He's into the scouting and stuff, but he never really got interested in the radio, but we did Jamboree on the air.
Okay.
And we got a couple of his buddies there, and finally got him on the air. So that was probably my proudest moment for the year.
Well, so Rob, I can't. Well, we'll see how this works. So, in essence, I'm turning 50, and so I don't know if you can actually see this.
Look at that.
You might know what that symbol looks like.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yep. So,
is that a Decepticon? What is that?
Yeah.
So I turned 50, and so one of the things like I did with my kids when they turned 18 was like rite of passage. Get, you want a tattoo, get your tattoo. So they all got their own tattoo. So I said, when I turn 50, I'm going to get my tattoo. And so this is just a start, but in essence, this is the Eagle Scout, because I am an Eagle Scout, and this is basically the Eagle Scout medal. It's going to be wrapped in a couple other things, and I got like a few others, but you'll have to tune to my channel to check that out. But I had a couple of hours; they were able to fit me in, and so he started that work on the Eagle Scout medal. But for me, like being in scouting, that's kind of where my ham radio journey kind of started. So like I totally get when you're supporting that kind of aspect of it, and that's kind of why like with my club, I push hard to get into the 4-H and scouting and Girl Scouting and stuff like that, because it's important. Because like ham radio is an awesome gateway to be able to get people into STEM and a bunch of other stuff. And it's just, I love the fact that I can talk in radio, and like, being able to share that with people who have no idea like about it at all is just like an eye-opening experience. And I'm just like totally blown away by it. So yeah, dude, it's awesome that you're, he's focused on scouting, and, and you're definitely part of that. So, my dad definitely helped that process too. So, although I have to say, when I go down to our Christmas Eve party, my dad is not a big tattoo guy. So this one's going to be one of those things that's like, we'll see how it goes over.
You're gonna be wearing a long sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'll definitely be like, hey, Dad, check this out. But in essence, it'll be one of those things like, oh, I can't believe, but at the same time, it's Eagle Scout, because he never got to be an Eagle Scout. So he always pushed his boys, my brother and I, to be Eagle Scouts, and we're both Eagle Scouts. So, it's kind of like one of those things that, it's a good thing, but at the same time, I got a lot out of it with radio side too. So, I totally understand that.
Yeah, likewise. I wanted to do scouting when I was in high school, and I couldn't do it for various reasons. And so I'm glad my son is interested in sticking with it, and I'm kind of prodding him along. But yeah, as far as the ham radio goes, he's not really interested, but we got him on the air, so that's all that matters.
That's
so
awesome.
That was cool,
And
and a couple of the other scouts too, and it, you never know. 20 years from now, these boys might look back and say, yeah, I remember doing that one time when I was in scouts. Maybe I'll pick that up, and you never know.
One of the things that I've learned, or I've experienced, is number one, some people don't even know what ham radio is, or they've heard about it, or it's some old thing old people do or whatever. But people at work were like, I was telling them about like ham radio, like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wish I could see that. So I turned on my iPad and connected to the Flex, and I started saying, this is how you do it. I go, you want to make a contact to, Europe? Here we go. And they were just like amazed by it. And I said, it's actually really fun. I said, anyone can do it. So it's funny, because now I go into work and they keep asking like, oh, how's that ham radio? Did you do ham radio in Arkansas? I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I went, and I'm ready to go down to Florida, wherever else you guys want to send me, because that's why I go down there. And I'm like, maybe next time you come down, you come down with me, and I'll show you what it's really all about. But what's cool about it is like, there's a lot of people out there that will see you doing ham radio, especially on Parks on the Air, and they either said their dad did it, or they did it when they were a kid, or I'm still a ham, but I haven't done it in 20 years, and they, they start, they really want to do it, and I think that's where, all of us, and even other hams out there, especially the guys doing Parks on the Air, have a real opportunity to kind of spread it out. And like what Eric said, getting in with the kids, the schools. I mean, we've got Tom, one of our members. He's a teacher at a high school, and he's basically starting a ham radio operation there at the high school. And I mean, and that just gets you just give them a little taste of it. Next thing you know, someone will pick up on it, and it'll just keep growing our hobby. And I don't think it'll ever die as long as they got people like us and other hams out there that are promoting this hobby of ours. And like I said, you don't have to. We all have different things that we like the best, like most. We have got our buddy Tim, KC1QDK. The guy's like he's become the CW master in our club, and he's taken it all the way. And I mean, he loves it, and he's got a whole following. Like, they do study things, practices, and I think that's where it's all about. Just getting us out there and promoting the hobby and having fun with it. And these things are great too. I love hanging out like the clubhouse and this. It's just cool to hang out and talk. Rag on each other a little bit and joke around and laugh and get together and and share it with everyone. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I have to give a kind of a little bit of a funny story here and kind of a success is. So when I first got married 25 years ago almost, I was, I was doing ham radio stuff. I told my wife, I said, well, you should get a ham radio. And she's like, no, I'm not going to get a ham radio. I took her to a ham fest. And of course, I had a bunch of old guys there. And it's like, she calls them stinky old guys with no teeth. And like, I'm not getting to be a part of this at all. Right. And so it was like, she knew I enjoyed doing ham radio. I did it for many, many years. And I think it was back in 2022. Well, because then we started getting cell phones about early 2000s. It's like, we'll just use the cell phone. We talk back and forth. Well, that was fine. But then back in about 2022, we actually did a local technician course at our local ham club in Tennessee, where I was. And she took the technician course and got her license, and she passed right off the bat. I think she did more just to prove to me that she could do it, because she was always part of the group when we were doing the general class or the extra class. She'd cook food for the group and that sort of thing. And I'd be hosting it in my house, in my garage, or in my little room. I had a big drop-down theater screen. And so anyway, she knew a lot of the questions and heard me talking about all these things over the years. Well, this past field day, she came down to visit that late afternoon, early evening. And I actually got her on the air as a technician to work ham radio for the first time. And she made a great HF contact, and she did a great job. I kind of coached her along the way, but I got the video of that. And that was, I'll be honest, that is my most exciting part of 2024, is that I got my wife on the air to make an HF contact, and she did a really good job. And then the other part, a few of you may have heard, if you listen to my podcast, you hear a commercial about ABR Industries on there, and she's actually the first part of that commercial.
Okay.
That was my wife actually doing part of my podcast.
I was going to say, I thought I heard her voice.
So it's pretty cool. She does a great job with it. So it's fun to have her kind of get involved with that a little bit too. And as much as she's been like pushing me the whole way to, I'm not, keeping me at arm's length, I think she's slowly starting to warm up to it and knows that's really my passion. And I really enjoy doing it, have a lot of fun. And it's like, I told her, hey, we can go dinner tonight. Or, if you want to go to the basketball game and visit nieces and nephews, that's fine. I said, I'm going to hop on with the ham radio guys and do the New England ham radio thing. But she said, you want to do this? It's like, you go do your thing. I know you enjoy doing it. Have fun with it. And I'll see you later. It's like, okay. So, but it was just cool to get her on the air and then be able to get her on the podcast a little bit too. So that was a big
They
success.
think he's a righteous dude.
Thanks, Eric. But it's pretty cool when you get your spouse involved and you can get your wife to talk on the air. That's a huge accomplishment in 25 years.
Yeah, that's a big win there, Marvin.
So,
that's a win for sure.
So when that happens on our podcast, Marvin, the world exploded and everything has come to an end because we've had all of our wives on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so were you ready to kick things off here, Mike? So let's do this here.
We are gathered here today to force this man. I think you must do something.
You got to pass the initiation.
Well, what is this? We doing a new secret handshake now?
Let the initiation begin.
You want in?
But first, you must look me straight in the eye and answer one simple question.
He must be on his own ham radio.
Step right up, step right. Sensitive, and if this is what you want, we as a family support your decision.
Okay, it's time to cast your votes now.
You pay now. Now.
Called ham, since I enjoy ham radio.
So it's official. Y'all are card-carrying lifesavers.
Well, there we go. So we know that Izzo always walks us, on a ham radio clubhouse. He always inflicts the pain to all the new members to be able to vote them into the club. And we haven't done that to Izzo here. And even Chris, Chris can't escape this here. So, we all enjoy you guys coming to hang out with us, and you are official, and we need to vote you kind of in. So Mike has prepared a good list of questions here that we're going to both grill, Izzo and Chris on. And, you got to answer in order to be able to be inducted into the Northeast Ham Radio there. So without further ado, Mike, please take the
Izzo,
stage.
is your mic working? He's trying to get out of it.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
yes.
All right. Okay, so Izzo and Chris.
So I can't.
Lightning round.
No.
Yes. The answer is always yes, Izzo.
So,
Fair is fair.
And Chris.
Fair is fair.
POTA activations. And I think I know the answer to this one for Chris. POTA
Oh, boy.
activation. Automobile or park bench?
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer the tailgate. So does that count as
Automobile.
That's automobile. Yeah.
tailgate?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tailgate.
Decent.
Okay. Antennas, resident or non-resident?
Resident.
Yeah. When you're running
Good
a
answer.
kilowatt.
You better be.
I don't believe in tuners.
Tuners are the devil.
That's actually the next question.
I'm 50-50 because I've used more resonant antennas in 2024 than I have. So, no, I guess I can't. I can't answer.
All right.
When I put go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm just saying when I put up my mast, it looks like spaghetti because there is a dipole for every single band going down my mast from 80 meters down to 10 meters.
As it should. Antenna tuners, manual or automatic?
None.
Yeah.
Right answer.
Automatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a manual tuner for a legal limit one, but it's not used that often.
All right.
Just looks pretty.
You've proven your worth as hams. Now,
Yep.
The following questions though, we got to really see if you're Northeasters. Okay. So, buffalo wings, blue cheese or ranch?
Oh, blue cheese for ranch.
Oh. Wow.
Ranch,
Right.
I'm not from Wisconsin. Come on.
We're going to have a divide in Liffrey and ham. Blue cheese is the way to go, my friend.
Yeah,
Sorry.
blue cheese.
All right. Maple syrup, Vermont or Maine?
Oh, come
New
on.
Hampshire. New Hampshire.
Come on.
Vermont.
All the way.
Wait.
There we go.
There's only one answer. It's Vermont. I don't
exactly.
think Maine produces maple syrup, do they?
No, it imports it
produce
from Maine.
lobster.
Vermont.
Yeah. And they add blueberries.
I used to sell a company called Maple Grove Farms, and I don't know where. I think we used to get our stuff from Canada. I think so.
Because that's the only place to get it.
I have maple syrup in everything. Ice cream, coffee, you name it.
Just call
Sugar
them out.
on snow.
All right.
Sugar.
Okay. So next question: cheddar cheese, New York or Vermont?
Vermont.
Our cheese is better than your cheese, but our football team sucks.
What football team?
Okay. Lobster, boiled or lobster roll?
One.
Me personally, either way, who cares? It's lobster.
That's a trick
answer.
question. That's a trick question, though. Isn't the lobster roll boiled anyway?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll have lobster meat with scrambled eggs. I don't care. That's
All right. Coffee, Dunkin' or Starbucks?
Oh, Dunkin'.
There we
Starbucks
go.
just
Okay,
gets-
Chris is a friend. Got it?
Starbucks is just dirty sock water.
Yeah, there you go, Chris. Expensive dirty sock water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Dunkin' ain't much cheaper anymore.
I know.
I'm not going to be thrown out. I'm not a coffee drinker. Am I going to get thrown out of this?
No.
Out of this
No,
fight?
no. As long as you just go Dunkin's, you're fine.
Well, I'll do their dragon fruit with green tea. Does that count, or does that make me?
That works. My son does that. Yep.
Yeah, I love
like
that. I like that green tea.
Okay, what about weather? Summer or winter?
Winter.
Ooh,
summer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with the summer. Yeah. I'm
All
winter
right.
baby. I hate some winter.
Beach or mountains for where you'd live? Beach or mountains?
Now that you're intentionally moving to New Hampshire eventually, Izzo, answer wisely.
No, because I like it all. I am the most flexible guy. I like versatility. I get tired of one, and I live 2,000 feet from the beach here. But there are times when I want to get away, but other times I don't know. I'm weird,
But you got someone like Chris who's literally everywhere is mountains.
There's no beach in Vermont.
There's nothing. Beaches
There
exist.
is in Maine though, right?
Yeah, true.
Get the river edge.
New Hampshire, you got both?
Yeah.
You do. You have to travel a little bit for the beach, but yeah.
New Hampshire's a good state. We have a little bit of everything. Within a 2-hour drive, you can be basically anywhere.
But I'm the kind of guy, when it comes to the beach, I don't want people around me. Just leave me alone. So maybe I do like the mountains, but I want that same atmosphere at the beach too.
Well, you can.
So
find
maybe
that
you're a
in New
lake
Hampshire.
guy. You're a lake guy then.
I'm a lake guy. Yeah.
I'm a lake guy. Yeah, I am too.
Take the beach in January and the mountains in June.
Sure.
What happened to
agree
the
with that.
question? What happened to the questions of chicken, fish, or steak?
This is
Favorite
the
ice
Northeast
cream.
Come
version.
on, those are
What is-
semantics. That's like
Semantics.
amateur hour.
So, all right, next question. Sports. Red Sox or the Patriots? I want nothing to do with this.
Neither.
Wait. You didn't go apples to apples there. It should be Red Sox or the Yankees.
Yeah, Yankees.
No,
I didn't write this question. I would have
wrote
actually
that
done
question
Red Sox
because
or
I
Mets.
knew it would be like Connecticut, wants to be a wannabe, Patriots fan or a Red Sox fan.
It's split down the middle.
No, because it's Patriots or Jets.
Yeah.
It's Red
come
Sox
on,
or
that's too
Yankees,
easy.
Patriots or
come on.
Jets.
Interstate 91 in Connecticut is really that dividing line.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Interstate 91.
All right, we got 3 questions left, and these are probably the most important ones. So,
Yep, I agree.
So Eric, make sure you got your finger on the eject button, depending
I
on
do.
how the answer here.
It could happen.
Chowder, New England or Manhattan?
Oh,
And I want to see their faces when they answer this.
Yeah, exactly. This will tell the truth.
Easy.
New England, man.
it's New England chowder. Chowder.
Okay.
New England with a lot of quahog clams and a proper amount of potatoes. Don't over potato it, and don't give me clam juice. I want the clam, and I want to taste that clam.
Yep.
I'm
Gotta
a
be
clam
thick.
man. I'm a
Gotta
clam
be
man.
All right. All right. Here's a question. Now for Scotch, Maine or Scotland? And this goes back to
This is an inside joke.
This is like an inside thing from Discord where Eric made a comment about you like Scotch from Maine. So
There's no question.
yeah.
I'm null and void. I'm null and void. You know that. I'm null and void.
Now, this last question is super important.
Yes.
This could decide your fate for the future.
Who is your favorite host of Live Free and Ham?
Ooh.
Wow.
Remember who gave you the gifts? Who bestowed amazing hats and T-shirts and
Well,
stickers?
who designed? But wait a minute. Who designed them? Who designed them? The
Well,
glass
that's
too?
obvious.
You did?
Obvious.
Okay.
Yeah, well, he's got some good, he phase 2, Paul has stepped up.
This is a hard one. What do you think, Chris? This is a
No,
hard
really easy. It's really easy. I'm telling you.
Well,
there's Cody.
I've spent more time on the phone talking with Eric, so I'm leaning that way. So,
But Todd did ask me if I was coming up for Winter Field Day. Nobody else asked. Nobody else
Yeah.
cared. See, no one
That's
else
not
cared.
true. That is not true. I asked you like 6 months ago.
But 20 minutes ago, he said to me before the microphone
Oh, I
shit
see.
the bed, he cared.
Short-term memory. I got it.
But Paul came on Clubhouse, but we didn't invite the other. Yeah,
Because he only bitched that he wasn't invited anytime.
right.
I've been on Clubhouse.
No, but wait a minute. Paul
Not
did
individually.
wait a minute. Paul bitched, but Eric was man enough not to bitch. See?
Yeah,
This,
thank you, Izzo. I appreciate it.
hang on.
I
Where's the
knew
scoring
where my
card
place
here?
was.
What happened?
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Blah, blah, blah.
What happened to what's my favorite band? Why can't we ask these questions?
Yeah. So what's your favorite podcast? Come on.
What's my favorite podcast?
There you go.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Oh man, no.
Well, I can
have
vouch
kids.
for Cody. Cody spent plenty of time up at Fort Drum, so Cody is a Northeaster, regardless where he is right
Yeah,
now.
Oh, Mike.
You are
Mike,
totally welcome.
I have shoveled so much snow to make it to PT on time. It's not even funny, man.
Oh, dude, man. Well, then you are going to like it here.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm heading to Montana for leave for Christmas leave, and I'm gonna try my best to do ice fishing on the air. We'll try.
Yes,
Nice.
I've been trying for the last 4 years to get the guys to do ice fishing on the air with me, and we haven't had enough ice. And so, yeah, I'm super freaking jealous, man.
Oh, not enough bites? That sounds like ice fishing. More beers than fish pulled out of the lake. That's how it works, man.
Well, yeah, but you got to have the ice to stand on.
Yeah.
Of course.
Hey, you might be able to do it. It's going to be cold this weekend. You might be able to. You might be able to go out, pick a pond around here, and do one this weekend.
So in other words, so my Eskimo fishing hut doesn't count because I'm on the ground.
Solid ground.
I'm on solid ground.
Dig a hole, throw a fish in it, and throw your line, and you'll be good. He'll count.
Mr. Buddy Heater's keeping me warm right now.
Well, our winters, like in Western New York, have been pretty mild. Buffalo has still got dumped on like each year. That they get like all their snow in one weekend, it seems. But outside of like those freak storms, it's been so mild the last couple of years compared to what I've grown up with in upstate New York and known. And so it wouldn't surprise me if you're just not getting enough ice. Like the winters, if they've been mild.
Well, last year, Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire, they didn't even have an ice in. Like normally it freezes and it's like a big ice in and everyone goes out. This year or this past winter, they didn't even freeze over, and we haven't had a big snow season probably in the last 5 years. Not a big one like we're used to getting. So we're due. It's gonna hit us. I think it's gonna hit us hard because we've been getting lucky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I drove through Buffalo 2 weeks ago. It was right after.
I'm sorry.
Right after they got dumped on. I couldn't believe how much snow they got.
Yeah, they were like, what did they say, like 7 feet or something? They were saying.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I disagree with you, Todd. We haven't been lucky. We've been unlucky.
Unlucky, yeah.
Yes. I'm hoping we get lucky and get some snow.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched the weather with the El Nino or whatever they call it. They said again, we're gonna be right on the cusp. More ice, I think, than snow. But one of these years, it's gonna be the right thing, and it's gonna. Like, I remember when I was in college, like in the early '90s, it used to snow like a foot a night. Like there was so much snow, like it was just unbelievable. Like they had to like bring in the military to move it out of the roads and dump it in the river because they couldn't blow it anywhere. I mean, it was just crazy. They had these huge trucks, and I got pictures, and I showed my kids. I said, "This is what real snow is." And they're like, "It doesn't snow like that." I said, "Yeah, it did."
We used to always be able to.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, I was just going to say, growing up, we were always able to walk off the porch roof right onto the snowbank and down to the road. We'd take her little red sleds and sled off the roof of the porch. But you can't do that now. You'll break your neck.
Right.
Yeah, I remember doing that up in Vermont too with my family that lives up there. Those were the good old days.
So I've been ice fishing for a little better than a decade, and what I didn't notice until I picked up ham radio is that our winters coincide with the solar cycle. And so we've had, right, the last 4 years where winters have been progressively warmer and warmer and we have less ice. Well, now we're in the peak. And so here's my theory, right, is that you give it another 3 years, when the solar cycle starts dying off, we're going to get back to normal winters again. We're going to have ice well before Christmas. We're going to have good snow again. Everything's going to be back to normal.
And then the bands are going to suck.
Shit.
I was going to say, so what you're saying is winter fishing is going to be way better than ham radio.
Right. So in other words, you guys have to wait for solar cycle 26 is what you're trying to say.
Pretty much.
So basically, you just check the forecast and see, like, if 10 meters is open, you don't have to plow or shovel.
Pretty much.
Just look at the band forecast or whatever.
Based off of the level of snow.
So, hey, Cody joined. Let's give Cody a few minutes to kind of introduce himself to everybody and say what's up.
Okay. No pressure, right?
Throw you right on the spot.
No pressure.
Yeah, no, okay.
Good.
Hey guys, it's really nice to be on the stream tonight. But okay. I'm a Montana boy who joined the Army back in 2006. So I'm getting close to retirement. I got 2 years left. I was a reconnaissance specialist for a long time, and then I became a commo guy because I became deaf, right? So let the Army make the deaf guy commo guy. I don't know, the oxymoron with that. But now I've been doing a little bit of amateur radio, Parks on the Air, right? We made a comment with Mike, right? That was my first 6-meter contact too, with a piece of wire on the ground. I don't know how a tuner actually did it, but it was awesome. But yeah, man, I love what you guys are doing, and I really appreciate ham radio and what it has brought to the table for military hams. And that's kind of my focus, is to get folks at least on active duty or National Guard to embrace the idea of that your amateur radio actually does qualifies some sort of, or quantifies some sort of part of your job, and that's my main focus there. But the rest of you guys in here, man, I love you. Izzo, if you are in a ice hut, bro, you got to cut the hole wider. And I love every one of you guys. And hopefully in the very near future, I will see all of you on breweries, wineries, and everything else on the air.
Yep.
There we go.
That is going to happen. I'm guaranteed.
Benders on the air.
Benders on the air. That is the perfect category for it.
CQ schmammered.
5'9".
You got a cidery right down the road. I was thinking about heading down there now.
Oh, dude. I am going to my favorite brewery and setting up an antenna. And they'll be like, what the fuck are you doing?
So, Chris, what's that? I'm a radio. That's a particular beer?
You're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted.
No, not.
Turn the amp on. There you go.
Chris. There you go. Turn the amp on.
Hello, radio. It's a beer from Zero Gravity.
Okay.
Ooh, good brewery.
I am a radio.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
That's perfect mix. Nice.
What does a radio taste like?
Kind of
solder.
bulky.
As long as it doesn't let smoke out when you pop the top, like
True. That is 100% true.
So if it doesn't let smoke out when you pop the top, there's something wrong.
Good point.
You're not doing ham radio right? Is that the word? It's the phrase? More power, ham harder is the phrase, right?
Hey guys, I gotta hop out of here. I gotta be up at work early for tomorrow. Merry Christmas to everybody, and Happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, whatever you all celebrating and lighting the menorah, all that stuff. It's been fun. It's been really, really fun meeting some great guys, giving me some great ideas. 2024 was really fun for me to kind of get back into POTA. after taking about a year or so to take care of some personal stuff here with the family, and it was really fun. Eric, you mentioned about the ATAS. I got a brand new vehicle, so of course I got to get some emergency radios put installed over the next month or two, but I really got to get into where do I want to put the 857 kind of a thing. I got some ideas thanks to YouTube and all these great aftermarket mounting companies. They're looking at various stuff, but obviously the installation of the antennas, that's my gig. That's where I like to design, and I don't have a problem drilling holes and doing it right, and dressing wires and everything. So it's going to be another challenge, but I'm up for it. But you guys really inspire me as an older guy to just keep on going and keep on trucking, as they say. So everybody, please be safe over the next few weeks. It gets a little crazy out there, trust me. Working in a 911 center, I could tell you it's that stuff don't lie. Those unfortunately, those statistics don't lie. Those numbers don't get spun. So everyone be safe.
What 911 center are you in?
Middletown, Connecticut.
Okay.
So we're one of the top 10 in the state and everything. We're always busy. If we have any dull time, we always pay for it afterwards. So it is what it is. But and I like it when I could throw on some YouTube stuff and everyone's like, hey, who's that and what's that antenna for? And of course, I get labeled, the radio nerd, but I don't care. So,
dude.
But everyone, thank you very, very much. Fun as always.
Thanks for being on, dude. It's always a blast.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Humbug.
Hey, and again, the invite. This is my invite to you. Winterfield Day. We have a spot for you to come hang out with us. So clear your schedule, figure it out, and come hang out with us, and we're gonna have a blast.
Todd and Paul, I was going to say you guys were my favorite, but now I think it has to be Eric. So
I got a place for you. Hey,
Well,
I got a place for you to sleep if you want.
Oh, look at this now. Just up the ante.
Dude, you don't even have a tent at Winterfield Day. How can you offer a place to sleep?
In my house. I'm not staying overnight.
All right, guys.
John, I'm bringing the good scotch.
Oh, but
exactly. There you go.
7-3, guys. We'll see you.
7-3. Good to see you, man.
I got to bail out of here too, guys. Thanks for letting me in the show here.
Dude,
And,
thanks for hanging out with us, dude. It's been a blast, and we're looking forward to hanging out with you in 2025. And dude, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, likewise. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that stuff, and we'll catch you guys in the new year. 7-3.
You too, man.
7-3. Rob.
You too.
7-3.
7-3. Yeah, I think I'm going to follow on their footsteps. I've got to go record this week an amateur radio podcast.
Oh, work. Blah blah blah.
So, I got to get that done yet tonight. So I've got 3 stories to do for them yet tonight before I get off. So.
Good, man. Well, it was good seeing you, Marvin, and keep us updated on that 8600.
I know. I'm a little disappointed, but in the radio, the company's got the customers come first, and I fully get it. So I'm not sweating that one. It is what it is, but it's been good so far. Learning a lot, doing well, and it's really coming along very good. So
cool, man.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to all you guys. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah to those. Happy New Year. I'm sure we'll talk to a couple of you before now and then. But, definitely looking forward to 2025, kind of figuring out what my goals are going to be for the podcast and myself. And I'd like to be able to get out and do, moving to New England. I've gotten out of – I used to do literally a park activation once a month. And going to New England with the limited amount of hours the parks are open, it's been a little tougher. And so working, during the day and stuff, I just have to find Saturday.
You live in Mass, please. People in Massachusetts violate every freaking rule on the planet. So
just drive in.
Walk into a park and activate the damn thing.
You really think the Rangers are working in the winter?
They are not. No. I guarantee it. Like exactly Todd said.
Yeah.
Just pay your taxes and go to the damn park.
That's right. So I'm going to have to, I guess. That's all it's got to boil down to. So I want to get back into. I really enjoyed that. I did that for about 2 years. And I fell out this year of 2024, so I'm hoping to get back into that, doing once a month activations again in 2025. So anyway,
appreciate you, Marvin, man. It's been a blast, and I'm looking forward to Winterfield Day with hanging out with you and looking forward to good stuff.
Sure, yeah, looking forward to it. We'll be in touch, and I'll see you in that meeting too. So
very cool, man.
All
All right.
Awesome.
See you, Mike. See you, Todd. See
Have a
see
good
you,
night.
Marvin.
Have a good
Merry
Have a good
Christmas.
one.
Well,
We're fading fast.
Yeah. If we want to start to put a bow on it, I got an idea to kind of start to wrap it up and go around
ahead.
and just kind of talk. We talked a lot about the year and successes, failures, or whatever. But I'll go around and put everyone, in the spotlight and ask kind of what are you looking for next year? What if you got some goals or some things you're looking forward to in 2025 for ham radio? What are they, Paul? Let's start with you.
Well,
you are to his right.
Since you came to me first, I would say ham radio wise, my big thing is going to be to get as many of the 40 summits activated as summits on the air.
You're gonna kill me, dude. You're gonna kill me.
Nice. Hey, Eric, keep up or get the fuck out of the way.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Nice. What about you, Todd?
Well, I got a few things. I want to get my extra, so that's the number one on the thing. But
we all want you to get your extra.
I know. And I've got an antenna here that's been sitting here for, I think we're going on the second year that I got it set up. My DX Commander. So.
You're not at the level of a certain ham radio 2.0, but
I look at it every day and I'm like, I should probably open that box and see what's in there. But yeah, I want to be able to. I need to let go of my work a little bit, and I need to put more time into my hobbies and ham radio and get more on the air and I got to get videos out there. I mean, I just got to get more involved with it, and I just got to find the time. So I'm hoping 2025 I can figure out a way to do that and kind of catch up to my co-host because I'm definitely slagging, but I'll figure it out. I'll get a video out there, and I've already tried to recruit my 12-year-old. He seems to be pretty good at making videos, so he might be my video editor.
Yeah,
we'll see. But and I just hope to keep doing the podcast and doing this. I mean, I love these live streams, and I love doing the podcast and hanging out with you guys, and so we'll see. That's my goal. But yeah, extra and the antenna, they got to go up. Yeah. Oh, and I got to make finish my Go box.
Yeah. Grounding and
oh yeah, ground. I forgot. I should probably make a list.
How about you,
Cody? Of grounding.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
Sorry. Okay. So just speaking of grounding, right? So T.O.'s latest video, he did a radio repair, and I commented on the video and I said, listen, just out of curiosity, how long was it between the start and the finish? And what do you do for station grounding in the RV? And his honest answer was, I have never done station grounding, and I don't plan on it.
Well, so let's back up the train on the RV grounding piece of it. His RV is grounded already when he plugs into electric, so he's pretty much grounded. Well, but he's plugged. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Granted, if he's plugged into batteries, I don't know how he operates. But if he's running off of shore power, he's grounded.
Grounding is a
myth. Prove me
wrong.
All
right. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
No. So Cody's up next. So Cody, what you got that you're looking forward to next year?
You know what? I came in a little late, so I should probably just say quickly my accomplishments of the year.
Yeah.
I in October I recently participated in a NATO-wide military HF competition, and my team did really, really well. On the digital side, we took first, and then on the analog side, we took third overall. And
wow.
it is pretty exciting because there's about 400 there's about 400 teams that's part of Noble Skyway, which is what it's called. There's lots of Mars folks, both U.S. Mars and then Canadian Mars that participate, and I really, really like that, man. It was a lot of fun. So goal for next year, let's finally beat the rivals and actually take first. So that's one thing. And going into 2025, I need to start my retirement packet from the military. So that's goal number one.
More radio.
Yeah, more radio. Right. I I think I just if I'm gonna decide what I want to do when I grow up, it's maybe to get a little bit raspier voice and just get ready for being a Santanet operator. I think that's what I really want to do when I really grow up. So that's where I'm at, man.
Awesome. I had just seen about that competition you were just talking about just on YouTube like a day or two ago. I can't remember what stream or video, but I had just learned about that like the other day. So there was somebody was talking about it, and I happened to catch something. So that's really cool.
I really like it. They what they're doing is they're trying to crown the best military HF operators in the world. So that's their going focus, and it's a lot of fun, man. The digital versions that we run is a little bit unique, right? Kind of like the stuff that we do on FT8 or VARA or whatever version of it. But it's wild to see different militaries across the world and play HF, man. Just go old school radio with it, and that's the only way that we're ever going to get better with it. It's kind of a lost art in the military realm, and it's coming back. There's a resurgence, and I really like it.
Good.
Awesome. What about QRPX?
Oh, QRPX. The word just came out yesterday that it will be in late March. QRPX is exciting. You're limited to 20 watts, so it's resonant antennas all the way through. That's the king of competition, at least on the U.S. military side. So, got to get ready for that.
Dude, well, hey, thanks for joining. I appreciate you having on. And again, if no one's already extended, please feel free. You got the link. Come on, and we do it once a month. So, I'd love to have you on.
Yeah, absolutely, Eric. I appreciate it, man. You guys are the best goopy goopers that I've seen in the last year on YouTube, and I'm down with your guys' ham radio.
Paul brings up the average there.
So Cody, Jody's asking in the chat, were you on Team 141?
Was that US 141? No, I was US 004. I was number 4. So I registered early. I'm a good guy. But yeah, that was fun, man. Canadians all around. Hey, don't let the Canadians lie to you. All right. They're pushing 400 watts when they're only registered at 150. Right? I'm going to put that out on YouTube and everywhere else.
Blame Canada.
So Chris, how about you? What are you looking forward to next year?
Well, if all goes as planned, last year was the year of getting my van and spending 1 year building it out and doing some contests with it.
Mm-hmm.
My goal for this coming year is to grow the YouTube channel, do a lot of activations with it, put it through its tests in parks and stuff like that. My other goal is surrounded around POTA, and that is I've taken all of the Vermont parks and reorganized them on a spreadsheet from least QSOs to most, or least activations to most. And I'm starting with the least and working my way up and trying to get the Kilo award for each park. So I've been working
Shut down everybody.
I'm working the one just up the road right now. I've got a few contacts left, and I'll have a Kilo there, and then I'm going to go to the next park and knock off kilos from one park to the next.
Awesome.
So you're gonna get a kilo. You're gonna get a kilo in every Vermont park. That's the goal.
You get a kilo. You get a kilo. You get a kilo.
Awesome.
A kilo with a kilowatt.
Yeah,
that's
there
awesome.
you go.
Dude. That's something I strive for.
Nice. What about you, Eric? What are you looking forward to?
Oh man, for 2025, I am super excited. I guess from the Lift Free and Ham standpoint, hanging out with Paul and Todd. Things are like taking off. The guys and folks, and just in general, like we had mentioned before, we're going to a weekly episode. So that's going to be a blast. We also are going to be ramping it up, doing some really fun stuff in the 2025 year. that we'll reveal as we kind of, launch some of our stuff in 2025 with the podcast. But, I have to say, the pigs, so this is one thing that I've been kind of slowly promoting. And so if you, have ever run into a place where you've been like, you drive around and you're like, hey, I see a bunch of antennas on cars. And I'm like, I know that's a ham. And you like, dude, I want to be able to like let him know I see his antennas and I think they're cool. Most of the time I'd be like, I'm going to throw a QSL card on there. And when it comes to me, everyone knows me. I don't have a QSL card. So I'm writing a little note and that sucks. So I was like, dude, there's got to be a better way. And so I came up with the pigs, and the guys, at Live Free and Ham, we're all supporting this process and this project. So you can head over to our site and check its stuff out. But bottom line is like now, just if you were a Jeeper and, you throw a little duck on the dash and, you're telling everybody it's a great thing. Now, as a ham, you can pick up a little ham and a little disc that's on the bottom of it. And you can put your call sign on it and say, hey, I recognize your cool antennas. Drop it on the car, put it on their, visor, put it on their windshield, whatever. And, kind of just make this like kind of cool grassroots thing. So, we as hams can kind of support each other, recognize each other, and just make the hobby cool again. And so, Todd and Paul are both showing the little ham guys there. And it's a small little disc, and, you can pick a bunch of them up at our website. But if you want to do it on your own, email me and I'll show you, where you can pick the stuff up. Because I don't own the corner of the market on this stuff. But, if you want a simple, easy way to be able to kind of contribute, and it's been taken off and people have been really super excited about it. So I'm super excited about seeing that kind of grow in 2025. And I'd love to be able to see, when you go to Hamfest, all these small little pigs on every freaking car in every Hamfest, you possibly could go to, yeah. Come on, Dayton, there's plenty of vehicles out there, I'm sure. So, but besides that, hey, I'm looking forward to some really good stuff, in 2025 for my channel. And, more so I'm enjoying hanging out with you guys. This has been a blast. I'm really, super excited to see, what we've been doing with Northeast Ham Radio and all of the people that just kind of come in and just been a part of it. That it's just been awesome to be able to hang out with you. And I got a great group of friends. I mean, it's been a blast to be able to hang out with all you guys, get to know you more. And, looking forward to 2025, to be able to, deepen that and, be able to play more radio.
Cool.
Hey, Mike.
Awesome. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in 2025?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta, like everybody else who's a ham tuber, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for like my end of the year recap and my goals for next year. And I did do a goals video and I came up short. You kind of learned like maybe I was being too ambitious or not. One of the things I wanted to do this year that I just didn't get around to, because I think in this hobby of hobbies, right? It's easy. Oh, squirrel. It's easy to get distracted, right? Like you're constantly like, oh, there's this new antenna or this new mode, or I picked up a new radio I don't need. And you get pulled in a lot of different directions. And I have no shortage of ideas for content. Like I got a list in my phone and and it keeps growing and stuff. And it's a matter of time. How much time at the end of the day do I have to devote to the hobby and stuff like that. And but one of the things I did not get to was making a satellite contact. And so that's something I definitely want to focus on in the next year. It was something for years since I was studying, I think for my tech, I was like, I want to make a satellite QSO. And it's one of those things you want to do, and it just it didn't elevate and to that high enough level where I dropped everything and this is what I'm going to do. So that's definitely on the list. I checked a couple other boxes. I wanted to do, I forget, like 4 or 5 different new modes, and I did that. And I've done some of the things that I set out to do there, but the satellites was one of the ones I never got around to, and it is what it is. But I got to do that, and I got to give some thought. To like what other goals. I think I had 5, and I'm going to drop it down to maybe 3 or so. But nothing like being an underachiever.
That's called focus.
Yeah.
No,
But
it's called setting the bar low. That way you feel you're successful.
Yeah. But the thing that I'm probably most excited about, and I guess I would say satellites, and I got to get a radio in my car. I bought my car back in the spring, and I've never had a radio in a car. My last car I had for 10 years, and I thought as soon as I became a ham, I was going to get rid of it. But then the pandemic, it made more sense to hold on to it at the time. But I got to get something in there. I have a short commute, so I don't need, I don't use the radio a lot. And like, I can use an HT in my car and hit the 2 repeaters I need to, and it's fine. So it hasn't been like a huge priority, but there's a rabbit hole, and I think Izzo's going down that now as he's talking about the 857 and the ATOS, and it's like, what do I want to put in? How much money do I want to spend? Do I want to get something? Do I want to get a 500 DR and put that in and spend that much, or do I want to? If I'm going to spend that much, why not get an 891 and an ATOS and just call it a day? But then where am I going to put the damn antenna? Because and Rob's not on here, but he's got a Subaru Outback too, and so he knows the challenges that come with that. And I think new cars in general, it's always, unless you got a truck, it seems like you get to be challenged as far as where you might be able to put some mounts. But the satellites and then putting something in the car is going to be on the to-do list and whatnot. So we shall see. That's probably, thinking out loud, 2 of my 3 goals. So,
you heard him
here.
There you go.
Mike, if you come up my way, I'll have the 3/4 inch drill ready for you. We'll start.
I'll have a step bib ready for you. We'll combine and make those holes happen.
You need at least 6.
6, yeah.
Minimum. Yep. Swiss cheese.
Yeah, it's such a rabbit hole to go down, though, to start thinking, like, what do I want to put in? Where do I want to put it? From antennas to the radios. And then, I start thinking, like, because I like doing the VHF contests and some of those things. And it's like, well, if I'm going to put an HF radio in there, why am I going to put an 891? Why not put a 7100 or something where I can do, weak signal on 2 and 70. And it's a whole rabbit hole.
What vehicle is this?
I got a 2004 Subaru Outback.
All right. The passenger seat, take it out.
Your wife doesn't need to ride with you.
Yeah.
The 1970s all over again.
And listen, the perfect radio for your car already exists. It's called the ICOM 706 Mark II-G.
I have yet to play with one of those. I really got it. Like, you and so many others speak so highly of it. And,
that's a great radio.
It is.
Yeah.
All mode, all band, full power, with a detachable faceplate.
Mike, if you just wait a little longer, and when Yaesu finally gets their head out of their butt and decides to launch the 1F, you might actually have that capability.
Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe we'll see. We shall see.
And you already have a 705, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So you already have the capability. You just need to mount it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I got what I need with that.
Put a kilowatt amplifier in the trunk, and you're
why not
good.
just like figure out a way, like, Carlos has kind of done it. Like, maybe I should maybe that's what I just need to do, is like figure out a good way to and buy the mounts and run with it that way. We'll see.
Yeah, figure out how to get 240 volt in the Subaru there and run a kilowatt. You'd be good.
Yeah.
You can always put a trailer behind it for the generator.
Yeah.
You got a ski rack, put the generator on the roof.
Well, it's not just the passenger seat; the back seat has to go out too.
Yeah, I know. Right? That point. Just get a van. Dump the Subaru. Just start from the fresh. Well, dude, cool. Well, dude, those are lofty goals, man. It's tough to want to make that next step to be able to like get your car like ham ready. Like, that's always a challenge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna have to make a trip to U-Haul and get a van just for like a Chris Farley activation. That might be.
Just get a enclosed trailer, put it down by the river, and then you get all bases covered.
I got to look and see if they got a river They probably got rivers near Dayton.
What's the river you activate when you do soccer practice with your kids? What's that river?
That's the canal, the Erie Canal.
Well, there you go. That's close enough. Just figure out how to get a trailer down there.
Yeah.
But cool.
Now, does a truck down by the river count?
Sort of.
No.
Come on, there's no fudge factor in there. Come on.
Once you start, the next thing you know, 20 watts is going to be QRP, and it's a rabbit hole.
It already is, dude. It already is. When the solar cycle plummets to nothing, 20 watts will be QRP. 100 watts will be QRP, guaranteed. Oh man, cool. All right, well, shall we wrap this up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Put a bow on it.
All right. Well, cool. If there's nothing else, then we will hit the button. But as always, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. It's always been a blast. We love doing this. So if if you haven't, this is your first time with Northeast Ham Radio, welcome. But at the same time, we meet once a month. We just kind of gather and all hang out, and it's always a good group of guys. And Chris, Cody, you're definitely welcome to, you join the crew there. We'll make sure we get you in there, and feel free. You got the link there, and come hang out with us anytime. And so with that, we're gonna wrap things up, guys. We appreciate y'all hanging out there. And again, everybody have a wonderful holiday and a new year. And we'll see you sometime in 2025.
Humbug.
73, everyone.
73, guys.
73.
Right. And we're out.